his own. He's got Simpkins caught in for the touchdown. Deshaun Simpkins with the snag.
Looking up to Sims Marshall. Home run down for Jalen Marshall. He's got a touchdown.
Good evening from the Schwarm in Hamilton. I'm Geoff Kim. Tonight, it's another step back towards normalcy. A week ago, we saw the return of soccer and volleyball. Tonight, it's football. It's the start of new things in this brand new season in 2020, and a brand new partner to boot as we bring in the rookie, Kyle Decker, in for the very first time. Let's start with the odyssey that began last March with the cancellation of high school sports. Now, it is the kind of adversity that brings people together, so we did make it this far, but where do we go from here? Welcome, buddy.
Well, thank you. Big shoes to fill with Trace, but glad to be here. It's Friday Night Lights here in Southwest Ohio. Couldn't be any happier. But what I think, Jeff, is the E plus R equals O. It's an equation about the event or the adversity that these kids have faced. What is their R factor? What is the response to have a positive outcome tonight and throughout the season?
And, those things matter so much, especially since we don't know if this is the last game of the season as well as the first game of the season. You never know with the pandemic that we've gone on, and so we're kind of marching to our own beat and hopefully making sure that we get the season one step at a time all the way through to the state final. Want to talk about Nate Mahan turning a one-win Hamilton team into a playoff team last year. Now the expectation is they'll make it maybe perhaps two in a row, and maybe it's the offense that needs to lead the way.
Yeah, the Big Blue with a big step. But for Coach Mahan, it is no surprise for most people that have followed his career from Northwest High School to Little Miami and now here at Hamilton. In year two, it is time to take the big step. They made the playoffs last year, but this year they have a stable of backs that I'll call the law firm, Johnson and Stevens.
I love it.
As well as the wide receivers on the outside, which is Bowling, Vardon, and Ishmael. So they really have a ton of weapons. Princeton is going to have to figure out who to stop and how to stop them.
Well, let's talk about Princeton. Mike Daniels is in year 4 as skipper at his alma mater. Now, last year, he led them to the playoffs for the first time since 2007. This is a school that has 27 league titles. So the fact that it's since 2007 is quite stark. So what do they need to do to make sure that this playoff run that they had in 2019 extends into 2020?
Yeah, just like Coach Mahan came back to turn his alma mater around, just like Coach Daniels came back to Princeton High School. He's a Princeton Hall of Famer. But this year is going to be the question of, is it rebuild or is it reload? And what I mean by that is they lost a ton of talent. They lost 5 guys to Division I and over 10 players to college football in general. Not many programs can say, hey, they sent 2 players last year to Ohio State, the Ohio State Buckeyes. But they have a great safety that's coming back, Leroy Bowers, who's committed to UC. He is going to be key for them to try to stop the weapons of the Hamilton Big Blue.
As you can see in the center of your field, and of course we are at Virtual Schwarm Stadium, and this thing officially christened just 3 years ago. Awfully beautiful to look at, even with the relatively empty seats because of COVID-19. You see the
spacing, and they have the chairs. It's different. I've never seen college football. I've been part of the game for quite a while. Not to age myself, but I've never seen a setup like this. There is spacing, which is great. Keep the kids safe is first and foremost for these student athletes, is safety and health, and it's great to see and very well organized coming in the stadium today, Jeff, of how Hamilton and Princeton are taking on and really getting behind the safety and wellness.
So we're just mere moments away from the start of this one here in the GMC, Hamilton and Princeton, as we did mention just a moment ago. Princeton has 27 league titles in their history, including, get this, Kyle, not 1, not 2, not 3. We can go LeBroning on this. The first 19 in league history belongs to Princeton since 1967. And then since then they have the most, and I know Colerain's catching up to them very quickly, but they still have the most at 27.
You know, Princeton is a historic program, as you had said. I mean, great players have come from there. And just as I mentioned last year, the talent is rich. But can they put the talent together? And once again, can the younger guys step up and fill in? And they have a lot of guys. Rodney Harris, to the first start tonight with Mackay at quarterback, is going to be really, really critical. He doesn't have 2 games to prepare out of conference. It's right into the GMC for his first start, which is going to be interesting to see.
Well, absolutely. And let's talk about Mackay Lynn for just a moment. 6'3", 180 pounds, a junior. This is his first career start as a high school player, his first career start as a quarterback. He did appear in 3 games a year ago as a running back in mop-up duty. So the idea that you have this athlete, a tall athlete who played running back and obviously clearly better suited to play quarterback. I'm talking to one right here, right?
Not a very good one.
Hey. So you give that the notion, you kind of go, it feels like he just came out of the woodwork, whereas maybe perhaps they knew that he was going to be a quarterback for this team all along.
But here's how you get a young quarterback adjusted real quickly. There's a guy named Thomas the Train, as I'm going to call him, Boyd. He is a very physical, large back. Just hand him the rock, get Mackay some reps in, let him feel the flow of the game. The speed is going to be different. At running back to quarterback, it's a whole different ball game. So I wasn't fortunate enough. I wasn't a great athlete, Geoff, but Mackay is one, and I can't wait to see him run and pass tonight. Well,
Kyle, we did make mention that you are the rookie here. You did come in with a pedigree at the high school and the college level. Let me see if I got this straight. If memory serves me, you played quarterback over at Granville, and then you went on over to Miami University, and had since done some coaching at Loveland since then.
Yeah, I've been in football for quite a while, and last 10 years as a volunteer coach at Loveland, so I feel like I really know the Southwest Ohio football scene, coming actually from Central Ohio as well. Played with great players. Actually, it's a unique situation for Hamilton tonight. One of my former coaches, the offensive coordinator, J.D. Vonderheide, will be dialing up the plays for the Big Blue, and Nate Mahan was actually a former teammate of mine at Miami as well. So it's fun to see these guys. We played Coach Daniels at UC, so there is a lot of relationships that are formulated tonight of old college and high school days.
A little bit of a delay here to get things started. Now, one thing that we're seeing off to our right, Kyle, is the congregation of the Princeton Vikings. They're jumping around and just in anticipation for taking the field at this point. We don't see the home team quite as yet. And, of course, in the center of your picture, you do see the marching band. So some histrionics to start things off in opening night, and I guess we wouldn't have it any other way.
You know, it's 2020, right, Geoff? We got to adjust and go on the move. You don't really know. Or I can actually tell Coach Mahan for my first broadcast, he's holding the team in the locker room to try to get us to talk as long as we can. But we are ready for some football. Princeton's now taking the field, and soon to be, hopefully the Big Blue will be out.
They're clad in the white uniforms with the scarlet trim around them, the scarlet numerals and the scarlet helmets. They are typically scarlet and gray. Of course, the Big Blue, as you would expect with the blue uniforms, and we'll see them shortly. In fact, just to our bottom, to our left, we see a puff of smoke, a blue bit of smoke, and we're waiting to see the home team come out of the tunnel.
And one thing, Geoff, just to touch upon, the left tackle of Paris Johnson Jr., who left, I'm going to call it Quincy Hughes, the big shoes for Hughes to fill with Paris Johnson Jr. Paris Johnson was one of the best left tackles in the country, so it's going to be interesting to see the left side of the line.
And here come the Big Blue. Nate Mahan is their head coach. He's in their second year at the helm. 5-6 a year ago, he took a one-win team to the playoffs. Overall, this is his 8th year as a head coach, 45-31. On the other side for Princeton, their head coach is Mike Daniels, a Princeton alum. He's now in his 4th year at the helm, 13-18. 6-5 a year ago, a first-round loss to Coleraine, but it's a return to the playoffs, as we've mentioned, for the first time since 2007.
You know, I think the return of prominence, once again, 2 former alumni, very proud of their high schools coming back to bring them back to relevance and really compete in the GMC. As you mentioned in the intro, the big step, right, for both programs. How does Princeton sustain excellence and make playoffs again this year? And for the Hamilton Big Blue, just making the playoffs isn't good enough, in my opinion, for these guys. And that's what Coach Mahan expects, is for them to take a step, compete at the top of the GMC, and really go after multiple games at a minimum in the playoffs.
Well, in a game that you heard right here on Chatterbox Live in the last playoffs in the first round, it was a game at Fairfield, 2-7, Fairfield versus Hamilton. And Hamilton actually had the first half lead going into the locker room, and then Fairfield, being Fairfield last year in 2019, blew the doors off of them in the second half. But other than that, it was a great showing for Nate Mahan in his first year at the helm.
In the press conference, Nate said this week on Monday here on Chatterbox Sports that last year they didn't have what they call the time clock come into play. So when you're down enough, and that to them was a point of, hey, we're relevant, we're not getting blown out, they're winning games. But this year, like he said, the expectation is to go beat a West, to go beat a Coleraine, to go and beat one of the top programs. They want to be the best. Tonight is the start of that.
Eric Rios will kick off from his own 40 out to the right, as Princeton will take possession, and they have a couple deep safeties at their own 10-yard line. So we are really waiting to go here. Actually, it's Martinez. So Martinez and not Rios to kick things away from his own 40. So Bowers and Foster are waiting at their own 10-yard line. The young man that you mentioned, particularly in Bowers, going to UC.
Yeah, he has a unique skill set. Really talented player that is really well touted. Has great size and great speed. And I wouldn't be surprised here if they would kick away. I would not kick to him to start the season. So I look for them to definitely kick away from him.
So it's Rios to kick, and it's a pinwheeling kick out at the 13-yard line, and away we go here in 2020. And coming back up the middle to the 40, to the 50, one man to beat out of the 45, and a great start for Princeton on the nice return by Bowers.
Yeah, I would not kick to him. Moving forward, I think Coach Mahan will make a quick adjustment and say, hey, that is a guy you want to steer away. He is a difference maker tonight, and there's a reason why he's going to Cincinnati.
Absolutely. So a 33-yard return to start things off, 1st and 10, and here's the offense here for Princeton. Mekhi Lynn making his first ever start, 6'3", 180 pounds, a junior, will lead the way. Our returner will open up at running back. The wide receivers, Lamont Jackson, Avant Rowe, they are actually the wing and the H-back. The three wideouts, the two wideouts, Rodney Harris and D'Lo Foster. Vince McQueen is the tight end. 1st and 10 to start things off at their own 46. Lynn signals a man into the backfield. High snap. Now have to roll for it to the left. He takes off and rolls out of bounds just for a couple of yards.
And in the first play, Jeff, here we see a bad snap and a penalty. I think that's going to be something, once again, the response. How have they responded? A little rust is going to be seen here typically in week 1, and we're already seeing it in the first play.
So Dylan Lee escorting the runner out of bounds, and while we wait on the penalty, the offensive line, Quincy Hughes, Caleb Sparks-Matthews, Javon Neal is the center, Casey Harris the right guard, and Dirk Thomas.
And that's a combination of juniors and seniors. Those are 3 seniors there, so they do have some coming back, but they did, as I mentioned, lose quite a bit of talent there up front on both sides of the ball.
So they'll pin them back out to the 31-yard line. I didn't catch the penalty exactly there, Kyle, but it's a big loss here, and it's 1st, and we're going to call it 25 at the 31-yard line.
I believe it was a clip on the backside, but I could be wrong, but that's what it looked like.
Quarterback keeping or taking it out to the 30, out to the 35, out to the 37-yard line. So a modest gain there for the quarterback, and he faces this defense with the primaries that we'll see up on the defensive line, Xavier Rubio and Kerryon Jones. The linebackers will see Blake Hawkins and Jordan Jones on the inside, Caleb Johnson and Breon Ishmael on the outside. We'll see some Malik Verdon as well. Keyshawn Stevens and Dylan Lee will be featured in the defensive backfield. So 2nd and 19 out of the 37. Quarterback rolling right, looking right, throwing, and it is picked off out at the 44-yard line.
What a play. If it stands, the refs are going to convene here.
Justin McCullough, if it's good, that's his first pick of the year.
Wow, big play, big play. The turnover chain is already in play. Mekhi in his first start, once again, not a great decision. Overthrows it under pressure. Interception, Hamilton. And here comes a potent offense.
And with 11 minutes left to go here in this opening quarter, Hamilton is really going to enjoy their time in trying to attack a short field.
Yes, as I mentioned, here comes the law firm. 2 partners, Stephen and Johnson. It'll be really interesting to see where they put Bowers on the opposing side, if they bring him in the box or not. It's really going to be interesting here what they decide to do, stop the run or stop the pass. It's going to be interesting.
Quincy Sims-Marshall is the quarterback. We see the tailback as Caleb Johnson right behind him. The give, it goes to the tailback, nowhere to go. Might have lost a yard on that play. And coming on in to close things up was A.J. Nunley for Princeton. And let's give you the Big Blue starting lineup here on offense. Quincy Sims-Marshall is the quarterback. Caleb Johnson, Keyshawn Stevens at running back. Malik Verdon, Darian Bowling, Breon Ishmael at receiver. We'll see some Elijah Givens as well. Jordan Jones will be an H-back in this team, and Isaac Kraft will be a tight end. The offensive line, Derek Deaton, Dustin Brock, Hayden Runner, Jacob Harmon, and Chris Lawson. So 2nd and 11 out at the 45-yard line.
In that first play, they went to the left side of the line. That is really where the size and strength is.
Deep drop, now looking, home run down the sideline, and it is incomplete out at the 21-yard line, looking for Malik Verdon.
Already trying to target. It was not one-on-one there. The safety was over top, so a little bit maybe of a force there, trying to work out the kinks. It's tough. It's tough being a former quarterback myself in the first start.
The defense, Kai Williams, Yosh Younger, and Caleb Sparks-Matthews up front. John Harris, A.J. Nunley, Anas, Lukman, and Jalen Stoker are the linebackers. The defensive backfield, Maseo Powell, Jalen Roberson, Leroy Bowers, and Jamar Matthews. 3rd down and 11 with 10:13 left to play here in this opening quarter, scoreless. And we've got some motion. As coming in motion was the running back, Keyshawn Stevens, and I think that might have accidentally triggered somebody else moving on the line.
Speaking of motion, I visited the Big Blue this week at practice, and there's going to be a lot of variations that they run, different orbit motions to different zips and flies, as I'd call it, across the field to really try to position themselves in a good position to attack the field.
3rd down, we'll call it 16 after the 5-yard mark off with 10:13 left to go. Again, they motion Stevens, and the quarterback moving to the right, throwing to the right, and completing to the right to Stevens, and he's going to be dropped for a loss.
3 and out for the Big Blue. Both offenses look a little bit rusty with penalties, and just not a really clean play here.
Leroy Bowers coming up from his safety position, of course, the UC commit, doing something and wanting to show his name off here early in the ballgame.
Well, if Coach Fickle and Coach Freeman are watching at UC, which they might be, they got to be really happy in the first couple minutes here of what they see from the promising safety and overall athlete at Princeton.
So they'll punt from their own 40. Justin McCullough is the punter. And Bowers is one of the deep men at the 25-yard line. McCullough waiting, getting, kicking, end-over-end kick, taken on the near side, 25-30. The cutback by Bowers, it looks like, out of the 30 to the 35-yard. Oh, and he is upended at the 34-yard line. An awfully pretty tackle on special teams after a return of 9.
Great tackle. Ran right through the ball, right through the hips, and that's what you're taught. Come across the body. Great tackle there.
So not a whole lot when it comes right down to it. It looks like as we're trying to, this is one of the things that we try to do from a math standpoint. 34 yards on the kick and about 9 on the return, and after a nice tackle at that. So 1st and 10 at the 35, a second crack for Princeton. The give up the middle, and it is to the tailback for a couple of yards, and it looks like your big guy there, Thomas Boyd, 6'1", 247 pounds.
The train, right? I mean, he is a big guy coming downhill, and he's going to, try to wear out the defense. With Hamilton playing a lot of players on both sides of the ball, I would see a heavy dose of Boyd tonight.
You would think, right? But he's not the number one official on this team. Here's the end around coming to the far side, out to the 40, down to the 45-yard line.
Once again, I think letting young Mackay settle in, you're going to see a heavy dose that time around the end there and use the speed and the athleticism. A little bit of flash, thunder and lightning maybe. Ari Turner on the outside and then Boyd up the middle.
D'Lo Foster on the run, the pickup, and it's 3rd and short. James Turner was there to make the stop. 3rd, and we'll call it 1 at the 44-yard line. The give to the running back. He has the first down, off left tackle to midfield, out to the 45, and down to the 40-yard line. Needed 1, got a whole bunch more.
Hamilton right now going high on Boyd, and they're going to have to really, really go after the legs. He is a load, as we talked about, really strong, really physical. They're going to have to really, really drive through his legs.
So they're going to spot the ball at the 42-yard line. 8:17 frozen on the clock. No score, just getting started here in Hamilton.
And the shoes to fill, as I said, at left tackle between Quincy Hughes. It looks like he's making some movement over there already.
Hard count for the quarterback. Now he motions a man. He fakes it, gives it to tailback. Nobody. No, now he bounces off, and he's going to lose a couple of yards. So a good effort again for Boyd, but you got to credit the front line there for Hamilton.
It looks like Hamilton brought maybe the Mike and Sam there, bringing some pressure. I think you're going to start to see defensive coordinator Rico Epps start to maybe get a little bit more aggressive to come after the running backs and put pressure on Mackay as well.
Malik Verdon with the stop, a 2-yard loss, 2nd and 12.
A Miami, Ohio commit there.
Yeah, there you go. Proud of those Oxford boys, right? They reposition the big man Boyd. Deep drop for the quarterback, looking, home run! Down the left side, it is too long.
That's not a bad spot to miss, though. Not a bad spot to overshoot. You definitely on a 9 route or a fade ball, definitely don't want to throw inside and short, and he overextended there, overthrew it. It's not a bad spot to miss, though.
Well, and in deference to that, right? You go back to that first series where it was a throw right into traffic. So, here now you have a 3rd down and 12, and you live to play another down.
Yes, and this is where you got to be smart. This is maybe 2-down territory here at the 45 and driving in, and I would look at it as maybe 2 plays here.
Pair wide to the far side, trips to the near side. Deep drop for the quarterback. He throws out to the far side, complete, out where he needed to be for the 1st down.
Great protection by this offensive line. He had a lot of time there to sit in, and it was a comeback route on the outside right to the sticks and delivered a nice shot there.
Gabe Bamer on the reception, but we got a flag down out at the 44-yard line.
Looks like a delay of game against that one hurts, especially on the conversion on 3rd and long. Coach Daniels cannot be happy about that.
So Coach Daniels has a pedigree at the college level, played his ball at UC, also coached in the college ranks for a little while.
Yeah, and he did. He was down in Georgia until he came back here to take over his alma mater. And as mentioned, he's built a really nice program over the last couple years. And once again, is it rebuild or reload?
Trips to the near side, and now we motion on the line. And this time, the right end for Hamilton coming across. Looks like number 2, Caleb Johnson.
So they go back 5 and right back up 5. So it'll be 3rd down and long still, but if that offensive line continues to give him protection for young Mackay, it's going to be an opportunity to really, with 5 wide here.
Trips again to the near side, a pair to the far. The quarterback holding on to it, it'll be dropped behind the line of scrimmage.
Coach Daniels has to punt here with almost 4th and 16 to 20. It's a field possession play at this point.
And guess who got him? Breon Ishmael for a tackle for loss.
They call him the Rocket, and he is a spectacular talent. He's going to be the class of 2023, but I think at the end of his career, he could be one of the better players to come out of Hamilton.
About 6.5 to play. Here's the punt. It sounded like it was partially blocked, but it goes forward out to the 21. A little loose on there on the return, and the return man had to drop on top of it. That was 13. That was Darian Bowling.
You hate to kind of see that at times when the ball's on the ground. Sometimes it's just better for the returner just to get away. We call it Peter, which is short, and when that call's there, sometimes it's better off just to let it roll and not worry about a deflection off of your hands and just really keep possession of the ball.
31 yards on the punt, nothing on the return, 6:27 left to play here in this first quarter. And we're scoreless here in Hamilton. Are you a little surprised that we're still scoreless through 5.5 plus?
I am a little bit. Week 1, as I mentioned, is typically a lot of rust, but I felt like this would be a track meet up and down with the great offensive showcase that could be, and I think they'll start to warm up here.
They bunch in the middle, and the tailback gets it out to the 25, and they go big here in that lineup. That was a little different from what we had seen in the first drive, as Johnson picks up 5.
I think Coach Mahan and Vonderheide, the offensive coordinator, might once again, similar to Princeton's second series, is start to really control the football and just really work to get a first down and get momentum and get confidence here.
John Harris on the tackle. He had 75 tackles. He's the leading return tackler on this team. Coach Daniels called him the heart of this team.
That's so important. To have a guy like that back in action is super critical.
2nd and 6, off left tackle and into the secondary, close to the first down.
For Hamilton, number 8,
so like Stevens picks up nearly where he needed to be, but it'll be 3rd and short.
3rd and short. I looked for them to go in a heavy package again and have both the Stevens, the law firm back there to pass the rock or put it in through and get the first down.
3rd and short. We're calling it 3rd and officially 1 at the 29-yard line with 5:24 left to play here in this first. A pair to the near side. And Sims Marshall will duck in under center. Looking left, out of the dummy count, the long count. And Princeton trying to reposition, and now we have a stoppage.
At practice, you didn't really see a ton of under center, so might be a little bit uncomfortable there. And I know they practice it, but at times maybe the personnel packages in week 1 really trying to figure out who's where and what. It's a little bit different in game than a practice.
Along with Kyle Decker, I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here for our drive to Canton here on Chatterbox Live. It's a beauty so far. Scoreless here in Hamilton even though it's cloudy skies, right? It's still bright out there, and right now the big thing, partner, is no rain.
No rain, and we're still playing football. That's what matters. It's Friday Night Lights, and it's a blessing to be up here and with Chatterbox and seeing these athletes able to showcase their talents. I know all they wanted to do is get to this moment, and rain, shine, or whatever, these guys are out here playing with their hearts.
There is a threat of rain tonight, because of all the hurricane activity down south coming and doglegging its way up north to our part of the country. So 3rd and 1 at the 29-yard line. And the give to the tailback. He's got the first down, and it'll be pushed back, and now he'll try to surge for it again for about 4 more, so good job.
Hamilton tried to stop the run, put 8 in the box, but was did not have the ability to stop him there. Great run.
So 5 yards on the play for one half of the law firm, and this one is Caleb Johnson, who ran for 878 yards on the ground a year ago and 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's incredible. One guy up front that I want to point out, Yosh Younger, one of the biggest defensive linemen I have seen. He is just south of 400 pounds. And that's going to be a big critical point of really loading up the up front here.
Play action, half roll to the right, throwing right, complete right, first down right, out to the 50, and out beyond that as well. Stevens out of the backfield gets the first down on first down. Bowers escorts him out, but not after a gain of 15.
Just a simple half roll with a drop off there in the flat. Nice and easy completion. Once again, got to build confidence, and that's what they're doing here.
And they're finally in Princeton territory with 4:26 frozen on the clock. Scoreless here in Hamilton tonight.
Guess what? Here comes the Wildcat. Vardon is behind center. And you'll be seeing a lot of this, I believe.
And he'll take it himself. Off right tackle and nowhere to go. Well, they expected him to run, and that's what they got. So 6'5" and 205 pounds, Malik Verdon.
Yeah, Verdon is actually interesting, a 2-time transfer. Started at Lakota West, went to Moeller High School. Now he's here home, and I think Coach Mahan is super excited about him and his brother coming back to Hamilton. And really, I think he's just a kid that really wants to play and showcase his talent after a couple different moves.
Well, he made an impact on the basketball team last spring. 2nd and 10 after no gain on the play. We'll see if it's Verdon again. Here's the keeper again on the Wildcat. Verdon bounces off a man and gains about 4, maybe 5 on the play.
So Verdon's doing a zone read there. And really what you're looking at, Jeff, is you're looking at the backside end and you're isolating him. And if he turns his shoulders downhill, you're pulling and you're going right where he is replacing himself. If not, if he shows your shoulders and he broadens out, you're given. And right there, it was hard to tell. It was kind of one of those intermediate areas where do you give, do you pull? He ended up pulling and only getting a few yards there.
We're going to call it 3rd and a short 6 with 3:06 to play here in this opening quarter. Trips to the near side. They bring back the quarterback, looking left, throwing, and it is incomplete. It is behind the intended receiver out on that left hash line.
Yeah, it looked like they were running a little bit of a hitch with a corner over top, and it looked like a little bit of a miscommunication there between the receiver and quarterback. So once again, communication in the flow and setting in is still not there with the Big Blue.
So they're going to have to punt it away, even with a short field. Do you expect a fake here?
I really think that they're going to continue to play field position, and I think they're going to try to pin them down in.
Looks like it's Bowers out of his own 10-yard line. The kick is away. Spiraling kick. Calling for the fair catch at his own 4-yard line is Bowers. I don't know. I would have let that one go.
Yeah, typically you put your heels at the 10, and anything past there, especially in high school football, you let it go. Get it on the 20, but you know what? These are just young, aggressive kids trying to make plays. So you got to give them your hats off. They're trying to do the best out there, and I think that's one of the things on film on Saturday morning. You look back, and that's a teaching moment.
Fishy at the 5-yard line. We're going to call it a 38-yard punt. Obviously nothing on the return on the fair catch. 2:50 to play here in the opening quarter. No score here in Hamilton. Along with Kyle Decker, I'm Geoff Kim. Glad to have you along. Opening night here in Hamilton. A day that I don't know if we thought was ever going to get here, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I think I think if you're a betting person, you're probably saying it wasn't going to happen, right?
The quarterback keeping it off the left end, and he is pushed back. He initially got some traction, and he got pushed back to the 2.
Nice play there, bringing a little bit of pressure, and really, this is a big stand here. This is a way to maybe change some momentum, to really gain field position. So right now Hamilton needs to lock them down, and vice versa. Princeton needs to get out of there.
The big D lineman, Marco Rubio on the stop. Beg your pardon, Xavier Rubio on the stop. 2nd and 11, a loss of 1. Deep drop for the quarterback, looking long, launches down the near sideline. It is incomplete out of the 40, and we got a flag. A 50-50 ball on the near side, as it looked like 7, Rodney Harris getting his first name called against Keyshawn Stevens, getting mixed up.
I'll tell you what, that is exactly what you want on both sides of the ball. Great position, put it at there. He tried to get to high point. The defensive back really turned around. I'm surprised the flag came out there. I thought it was just an overall no flag. Great play on both sides of the ball. And that's a tough thing as a high school cornerback, to stick with your man, turn, and find the ball. I thought that was really good defense.
Saw Keyshawn Stevens arguing his case towards the end of that. We're going to call it 2nd and 1 as they move the ball up to the 14. So, this is the thing about high school I think that we need to mention, right? Pass interference is not an automatic first down.
So, Jeff, there, I think they actually called holding. I saw holding, so it was a 10-yard penalty versus a 15.
So, there we go, and that's what that explains the 10. So, 2nd and 1. And the give to the tailback, Ari Turner. He's close to a first down. It looked like the ball touched, or at least the shadow of it got to the 15-yard line, and the near side linesman is pointing to it.
How about the rookie trying to correct the veteran over here? So I better watch myself. You might kick me out of the booth after the first night.
No, you're good. You're the expert here. We brought you in to be our quarterback of this Chatterbox Live team. So 1st and 10 at the 15. A long way to go tonight here in this game. We hope, if the weather is cooperative. Again, as you can see, we do have a partially sunny sky out here. The quarterback keeping off the left side, trying to reach the 20, can't get there as he's pushed out right around the 19-yard line.
For the Vikings, the quarterback, number 4, Makai Lynn.
There's Makai going around the end on the short side of the field there. And I think they're really trying to key on some of that and trying to get him around the perimeter on the short side at times.
They're going to place him out at the 18-yard line, so a 3-yard gain on the keeper.
I know a guy that you had mentioned, Jeff, that I'd like to see, Rodney Harris, who's on the outside here. Get him involved. I think he has Big Ten talent. Coach Daniel was saying he looks great. I mean, he looks the part. Once again, the wide receivers on both sides of the ball tonight are incredibly gifted.
The quarterback trying to dodge traffic, and Hamilton was none the wiser. They were ready up the middle.
Once again, running away from the strength of the field on the short side, really trying to take advantage of something Coach Daniels must see over there.
First man to meet him was Caleb Johnson. 3rd and 8. So we're down inside the last 30 seconds of this first quarter.
Something to take note, they just put Quincy Sims-Marshall here on a 3rd down. They might be running some sort of 3rd down package to really get additional defensive backs in the game.
Deep drop for the quarterback, looking long, throwing deep middle. He throws one up for grabs, and it's intercepted again at midfield. Was it McCullough again?
I think it's Verdon.
Malik Verdon gets it, and that's the second pick of this first quarter for the quarterback.
Big players make big plays in big games, and you're seeing that with Verdon and some of the other big players just as advertised. Great play. Way to go up and get it.
So you can't hang the ball up there. I got to tell you, I'm much more of a baseball guy. That felt like a hanging changeup.
That's the second time. 2 interceptions, rolling out under pressure, really throwing it up. That was really well. It was underthrown, and great play by Verdon to come back and get it, and second turnover of the night.
You expect this to be the final play of this first quarter with 7 seconds left to go. 1st and 10 at the 48. Deep drop for Sims-Marshall. Looking. He wants it all. Down the field. It is caught at the 15-yard line. Bowling.
That is a Sports Center top 10. Da-da-dun, da-da-dun. What a grab.
And this first quarter has come to a close, but we'll have to perhaps wait for the flag on this one.
I think it's going to be pass interference. What a grab. He was interfered with and still went and got it. Big play by Bowling.
Big time grab of 37 yards. We'll take a timeout here. End of 1. We are scoreless here in Hamilton between the Big Blue and the Vikings. This is the game of the week here on Chatterbox Live. Second quarter about to unfold here in Hamilton. We are scoreless between the Big Blue and the Vikings, along with Kyle Decker. I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us. It's the Greater Miami Conference here on Chatterbox Live. So we follow this up. It's the first time in the red zone for Hamilton on a 37-yard pickup on the connection to Bowling.
Look for them to really exploit the size of the wide receivers and the jump ball here potentially in the red zone.
Running back taking it up to the 11-yard line.
And one thing to point out, talk about the size in the red zone. I was looking at this. They don't have the size of college wide receivers. It's almost an NFL. These guys average 6'4" between the top 3 wide receivers here at Hamilton. It's almost an NFL type size as far as length is considered. Incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, how would you like to have that on your team, especially from a blocking perspective, right? So 2nd and 7 at the 11-yard line after a pickup officially of 3. Bowling to the near side. The quarterback calling for it. He'll keep it. Stevens up to the 10, down to the 5, down to the 4.
Direct snap to Stevens. Really interesting. Great look. Love the mix-up right up the middle there for Stevens.
On the stop for the Vikings, number 6, Jamar Matthews.
Matthews on the stop, and we're going to call it 3rd and 1, officially at the 5-yard line. And we'll see if they go again to the Wildcat.
It looks like from the personnel package, it looks like they might be doing that, or putting Verdon in the backfield as well.
Well, it looks like Stevens is going to come out left. And it looks like Verdon in the backfield. He'll take it to the right. Has a hole to the goal line. Is he in? Touchdown!
Goes from making an interception to a touchdown.
A 4-yard keeper officially for Malik Verdon, the first score of the year here in 2020, 6-0 Hamilton.
The first one to make reservations for 6. Is that right, Jeff?
Absolutely.
Number 22, Blake Hawkins, the kicker, number 85.
Now you're really looking at Coach Mahan and Vonderheide and really the units get a little bit of that, what I call a flywheel, get a little bit of that rhythm and momentum there.
So we're waiting on the point after attempt, and it looks like Eric Rios will come in out of the hole of Blake Hawkins, who plays some linebacker for this Hamilton squad. Jacob Harmon will snap. Good snap. The place is down. The kick is away. And it's good. With 10:34 left to go here in this first half, Hamilton has drawn first blood, 7-0.
Yeah, I think we've talked a lot about the talent on the outside, but let's give a little bit of the Hogs up front. Look, Jacob Harmon, who's coming back for a big season, playing physical up front, really opening holes. Once again, it's the big guys up front always don't get the credit, but they sure do deserve it. A guy like Jacob Harmon opening up holes for this running attack.
And we as we talk about these teams here, right? The thing about, and this is a good omen here for Hamilton, because they were outscored throughout the whole season of 2019 by 24 points. Now, they still made it to get through 10 games, at 5-5, and of course they got blown out in the playoff game against Fairfield. But to be minus 24 and still make the playoffs is quite a feat.
That's really comes down to a lot of different things. Having players that don't quit, that see it through, making big plays in big pressure situations that we're seeing here tonight, and also very well coached. I can't say that enough. It's not just because he's an ex-teammate. He's one heck of a coach with his track record and really setting the foundation, and you're seeing how disciplined this Hamilton team is, and that's how you win close games.
Eric Rios to kick things away from his own 40. It looks like Foster and Bowers. And the return man out at his own 6, 10, 15, 20, comes up the near seam to the 25-yard line and pushing forward. D'Lo Foster or D'Angelo Foster.
Something to note here as the offense comes back on the field. After the first quarter, there was no passing yards. That penalty brought back that big play, but 0 passing yards for Mackay, first start. So he really hasn't got that grill or piano off the back per se, and I think a short little pass here would really hopefully help him get a little bit more comfortable running the offense.
1st and 10 at the 27-yard line, and for the first time tonight we see a team looking to catch up here. The Vikings down by 7. Mackay Lynn trying to overcome 2 first-quarter interceptions. The give on the end around coming out to the 29-yard line. It looks like Foster. So D'Angelo Foster, or his friends call him D-Lo. I kind of like the nickname, I got to admit, after a gain of 2.
Looking at all the rosters preparing for the game, D-Lo is one of the better ones. I'd still say Yosh might have him.
Yes.
But D-Lo is right up there.
Well, could it be said that Yosh might have that advantage by the virtue that he is 360 pounds?
Yeah, I would. Being a quarterback, I loved big guys up front and on the defensive side of the ball. They always looked after their quarterback, so I guess I got to give Yosh that.
I think they're going to go back again to D-Lo, out towards the 30, out towards the 31. Maybe they're playing a little conservative after that first quarter where we did see 2 INTs.
Yeah, you're really seeing the ground attack. It looks like, after 2 interceptions in a quarter, I can't blame Coach Daniels and staff to really try to get momentum through the ground, and I think you're going to see a heavy dose of that. I would like to see the train, Thomas Boyd, maybe get a little bit more carries here. I really feel like he could make an impact on the game.
This would be a good time for a draw, 3rd and 8.
Yeah, I think so. I would definitely see that.
And instead they go past the outside, and it's a first down. He completes it to Rodney Harris, who gets his first catch of the year.
And that's a guy that needs to touch the ball. The more that guy touches the ball, the better chance the Vikings will have to make a comeback and potentially win this game.
We do have a flag on the field. Harris last year had 15 catches for nearly 400 yards, 398 yards. That is 26.5 yards per catch.
He's an elite athlete. He's a big-time player. Once again, Coach Daniels said Big Ten talent, so he's a Power 5 type guy. He's on a lot of different radars, and I think you'll continue to see him. Once again, he should get as many targets and get the ball in his hands to make some big plays.
We got a tack on the play there, so they're going to move the ball out to the 44-yard line.
And that, Jeff, that was that short throw, right? That was just a nice little comeback, little hitch, pitch and catch, as I call it, and just to gain that confidence. I think that's something, once again, they need to keep targeting.
Deep drop for Lynn, looking right. Home run to the left. He's got a man wide open. And there's reservations for 6.
Well, a little bit of a hitch and go. So they hitched on the last play, and then they just did a hitch and go. And over top, one-on-one, broken coverage, great ball. And Mackay and Princeton Vikings are on the surge back, 7-7. Or soon to be, maybe after the extra point here. I misspoke. And now you can correct me, Jeff.
It's good here, but we got a long touchdown on that one. And with 8:43 left to go here in this first half, we're a point after away from tying this one up.
In high school football, it is really me speaking too early. It's not a given as like college and pros for an extra point, especially in the high school level. Kicking extra point is not the easiest thing here.
Logan Jamerick on the point after, and good. We are tied up at 7. Now, was that 0 or 8? Was that D'Lo Foster or was that Lamont Jackson?
I believe that was 8 Lamont Jackson. And once again, great hitch and go. Mackay pumping his shoulders, and the defensive backs were probably peeking in a little bit, thinking they're going to run hitch 2 times in a row. And next thing you know, those guys are taking off. And there was probably about 8 to 10 yards of separation there. Mackay really just had to hit what I call hit the layup. You know, he has that, and sometimes that's hard, right, in basketball. When you're hitting a layup and you brick a layup for a quarterback, you can get a little, when you see that much of wide open space, sometimes that is difficult because you're like, oh, my goodness. And but he did a really nice job of hitting him in stride and touchdown there for the Princeton Vikings.
So that drive took about a buck, as we're trying to count back, $1:43 off the clock, 4 plays, and it goes 73 yards to Capper, the long touchdown from Lynn, his first of the career to Jackson. Point after is good. We're tied up at 7.
Number 49, Jamerick to kick off.
So Jamerick waiting to kick things away from his own 40. End over end kick, short kick, taken at the 17. Coming up the near side to the seam, 25-30. And out to the middle of the field to the 33-yard line. And this will be a good spot here for Hamilton, trying to get another score on the board. And Stevens with a good return.
Still plenty of time, 8:38 on the clock. Lots of times for both teams to continue to get more plays in here. And I think momentum is a fickle thing in high school football, right? So Hamilton comes down and scores, and Princeton responds back with a big score. Now, once again, momentum and pendulum swinging back and forth. How does Hamilton respond to that big score by Princeton?
We're tied up at 7. So we were wondering when both teams were going to get on the board, and as soon as they switch sides of the field and switch quarters, away we go. 2 quick scores here in the last few minutes. Sims Marshall the give, and on the delay, the running back gets snowed under. Caleb Johnson had nowhere to go for a loss of 3.
Well, they must have heard Jeff and Kyle up there yapping about how their offenses weren't moving down the ball, and boom, right there, two big shots, 2 big scores, and get both teams moving here. Great game so far.
Kai Williams, a defensive end, 6'1", 228. He was a game-time decision. Obviously, he's good enough to go, and he gets a tackle for loss. 2nd down and 13 out at the 30-yard line.
I think if any of these kids, knowing it myself as a player, if I'm game time with all the stuff that happened, they're going to do whatever they can to play. Great to see him out here.
Sims Marshall wants it all for Bowie. He's got it at the 30. Steps around a man to the 20. Cuts to the middle of the field. To the 10. To the 5. He's got reservations for 6.
Wow.
70 yards on the connection.
What a play. Man, there's going to be lots of reservations. Buddy LaRosa better get LaRosa's open because Bolin is coming for multiple reservations. That is incredible play. Came back and got the football, Jeff, and then cut across the field after high pointing the ball, coming back, making a grab, and what a great play by Bowling.
And take a look at Bowling if we can as he tries to take off his helmet. Well, we'll get back to him. We saw him at the coaches show on Monday, and he's got this beautiful blonde hair. Look at him. Just gorgeous locks there.
It's hard to admit on air, but I'm a Browns fan, and a little bit of like OBJ, right?
Yes, he does.
So
Eric Rios waiting for the point after. Out of the hold of Hawkins. Kick is up and good. A delayed call on that, 14-7. Two-play drive. It soaks up just about a minute and 11 seconds. The 70-yard connection from Sims Marshall to Bowling on a beauty of a 9 route, and then he cut to the middle after he broke coverage of his man right around the 30, and his speed took him the rest of the way.
Yeah, you look at guys that he might not have the most elusive speed. He has the size, but he just has a knack for football, right? And I think you see that. It's in his blood, right? Football comes in his blood. His dad was a great player, and you see it with him. Some guys just have the it factor, and Bowling does, right? He just gets it. If you hear him talk, you watch him work in practice, he is straight business. He wants to win. He wants to really take Hamilton, talk about that big step. It's not going to be a big step without Bowling making plays like that.
That is, by the way, his longest pass completion of his young life at this point.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be more of it, right? So Quincy Sims Marshall Law is back in order here in Hamilton, and he is going to be able to make big-time plays. And I think you're going to see with these weapons, I wouldn't be surprised if Quincy Sims Marshall is at the top of the league in passing. I just really believe that these guys are going to have some significant opportunities for plays like that.
Rios from his own 40, boots it away, pinwheeling kick for Bowers, and it's a touchback. First touchback of the year that we've seen so far. A lot of firsts here in 2020. Obviously, brand new season opening night. It's a beauty to see. Of course, brand new partner here in the booth as well. We're glad to have you along, Kyle. And as we had mentioned with Bowling, right, a 70-yard touchdown pass, and the young man was really brimming with confidence. In our Big Blue show on Monday over at Municipal Brewworks, and it's confidence and not arrogance, right? He knew what he was all about. He knew what he can do on the field, and he knew he had to step up this year.
And he said it on Monday at the conference, and you've heard overall and talking to the coaches as well. He was that guy. When I talked about E plus R equals O, the R factor, he was the guy circling when it was not mandatory to work out. He was that guy bringing others along to say, hey, guys, we got to stay focused and we got to keep the plan.
Lynn on the keeper to the left. Trying to find the corner. Gets it, and he gets pushed at the end, and that's going to be 15.
You would like as a coach, especially to see as the guys coming out of bounds there. Nothing is great. It was obvious, multiple yards out of bounds with the late hit there. But once again, these kids are just playing hard, probably excited to play football on a Friday night, ready to hit someone that's not wearing the same color as they are.
So McCullough, who had got the interception back in the first quarter, he was the last man to tap down the quarterback, and we're going to tack on here. 1st and 10 officially at the 40-yard line. So all told on the yardage and the penalty, it's 20 yards. 7:40 left to go. And the quarterback keeping right up the middle into the secondary to the 45 to the 48-yard line, a nice gain of 8. So he got an extra gear right as he met the linebackers and was able to push his way forward for a few more.
He definitely has some speed there. I mean, you talk about an athlete. A lot of coaches that I talk to at the collegiate level could see them as an athlete, whether it's a safety, wide receiver, cornerback. And I think that's one of those things you're going to see a lot of him in running in the gun here.
Quarterback giving to Ari Turner, close to a first down.
For the Vikings, the ball carrier number 1, Ari Turner.
Now this might be where it looks like it's going to be a third and short.
On the stopper,
And we have an official stoppage. Someone's a little slow in getting up.
So, Jeff, I think, while the player's down, talking about the next play here, being 3rd and 1, do they bring in Thomas Boyd, to get this yard, right? Or they're going to keep going at, the zone read and really let Mackay make a choice here. It's going to be really interesting to see what Coach Daniels and the Viking staff select to play here.
7:01 frozen on the clock on 3rd and 1. Still can't see the number of the down Princeton player. I want to talk about actually Hamilton on the other side while we have a little bit of moment to talk about this. We talked about them being a two-headed monster, or maybe perhaps a law firm.
I love the law firm. I hope Hamilton, if I'm walking around Hamilton next week, I better see some law firm T-shirts.
So
if you're listening to this, Hamilton, I want to see. Now, if we do a game in the future, we better see the law firm by Jeff and Kyle here. So Chatterbox Sports is naming it. We better tell Trace, who runs the show here, to trademark that for us.
So Stevens and Johnson, the running back tandem for Hamilton. Get this. So a year ago, keep in mind, this is a year ago, Hamilton's offense accrued 3,130 yards of offense when they had the ball. Those two accounted for, get this, 2,048 yards. Quick math, that's 65% of your offense. You want more? I'll give you more. They accounted for 23 combined touchdowns. That is 138 points. The team scored 226 combined points. So how much of the offense scoring did they account for? 61%.
I'm glad, because I'm not good at math. But one thing you do know is these guys are talented. Talk about production that comes back. I mean, once again, I was mystified. I'll be honest. When I came out to the field this week to watch practice, and I came up to Coach Mahan, we have a guy that they're not even talking about, once again, Ishmael, because he hasn't started in football. I know he was a basketball guy too. But to see the talent and to have two running backs that amounted to that productivity, and then to add more talent on the outside, not mentioning, once again, the great offensive linemen that are back this year, like Jacob Harmon, once again, it is, if Big Blue Nation isn't excited, I don't know what else to do for them, but it's going to be an exciting year here in Hamilton for sure.
Absolutely. Looked like a 52 on the play. Well, guess what? There's no 52 on the Princeton roster, at least as far as I can tell. No, 52 is Dirk Thomas, beg your pardon.
And it looks like they did bring in, Jeff, they did bring in Boyd here for the short third down.
The give to Boyd, off right tackle, bounces off a man. He surges forward. He is close.
Number 3, Thomas Boyd.
They're going to give it to him. I thought they might bring out the chains there, but it looks like they're going to give it to Boyd and the Vikings in first down.
So Hawkins in on the stop. How would you like if you're Blake Hawkins? And Blake's 5'10", 190. You see a diesel at 247 coming your way? Congratulations, you made the stop.
I'll tell you what, I'll give Hawkins credit. He went right up there and popped him pretty good. Great, once again, both sides of the ball, with Boyd trying to get it and Hawkins trying to stop him. Both kids playing their heart out here tonight.
Lynn, deep drop on the play action pass. Now rolls right, and we'll have to throw it away. Intended, and we use the word intended very loosely for Vince McQueen, the tight end, out on the right flat.
Another roll right under pressure, and I think Viking Nation held their breath out loud because that has not been a successful play under pressure here tonight for Mackay and the Vikings.
Current drive, run, pass. Do we have a run here?
I think so. I think they're going to really continue to control the ball and continue to try to grind out. Once again, Hamilton's playing a lot of players on both sides of the ball, and I think if I'm Coach Daniels, I'm going to continue to try to tire out, especially in week 1.
The quarterback is a single wing, 3 wide to the far side, a pair to the near side. The quarterback calling for it, quick pass out to the far side, and it is dropped. Awfully close to being a lateral, in fact, partner, intended for Lamont Jackson. Actually, to Foster, so it was 0 and not 8. So intended for Foster, and it was awfully close to being a lateral.
Yeah, at that second down, we talked about them trying to run the rock. I call that a manufactured run. What I mean by that is throwing in the flat, that's a high percentage of a catch. Even though he did not catch that, typically that's a high percentage to get it to a great athlete on the perimeter and let him go gain yards. And I can imagine, as a frustration right now for a coach, now they're in 3rd and long by not catching that ball, and we'll see what they do here.
Roll right, throw right, behind the receiver and incomplete out at the 47-yard line.
3 passes, 3 and out.
Well, they kind of blew away our idea up here. Maybe in trying to outthink the room, they outthought themselves on the last set here.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm up at the booth for a reason, right? I'm a washed-up quarterback, and I'm up here trying to speak football. But one thing is once again, it's difficult. So, as a person that's calling a game, to get in that flow.
Hey, here's a fake out to the left end. They're going to sniff it out at the 45-yard line. A great stop by Hamilton. They blew that one up. Number 5, Xavier Rubio, the defensive lineman, came on in and stopped the punter.
What a play. The senior coming out, making a big play there. Momentum swing, right? So here we go. This is an opportunity for the Big Blue to go up 2 scores heading into the half.
And what momentum would that be for a team, especially on opening weekend?
Oh, significant. Right now, and you can see the energy and the vibe here on the sidelines with Hamilton. You can feel the momentum. The crowd here at limited capacity, you can feel the vibe. They're ready to blow the roof off here.
You go for it all here on the first play?
I would love to. I'm an aggressive play caller if it's for me, but once again, there's so many options that I would attack over top, and it looks like it's man and man underneath. It's one-on-one here.
And the quarterback keeping it up the middle. He's into the secondary, out to the 30. He had one man to beat after a nice big gainer on the play.
And the one thing I saw on film by Princeton, with the 3-4, the base defense, they typically run what they run and they stay aggressive. As you saw there, it was pretty much man underneath. Looked like the safety was flying back to put one in the middle there to try to prevent maybe a deep ball across the middle. But it's once again it's pick your poison, as we said at the intro of this game.
Matthews on the tackle. Pick up a 15 for Quincy Sims Marshall. 1st and 10 at the 30. So we melt under 5.5 to play here in this half. And to the tailback it goes, and none the wiser on a loss. So Caleb Johnson loses a few, and the big guy was the first one to get in there. Big number 99, Yosh Younger.
That's my guy. Yosh. Or Yosh. Either way, he is a run stopper, right? I mean, he is there. He can move, right? I mean, he's a guy that's going to be really relied upon to take up a lot of space and make plays. Very athletic for his size.
Officially a loss of 3 on the play, 2nd, and we'll call it 13. On the near hash mark, out at the 33-yard line. They reposition to the right, to the short side. And the give, it goes to Caleb Johnson, maybe back to the original line of scrimmage before that last play, maybe a gain of 2.
And here's another situation at the 30 and driving in. If I'm Coach Mahan and Vonderheide, I'm thinking 2 downs here, right? So I know Hamilton has a really good kicker here, but this is a situation I think you're thinking 2 downs. You don't have to get it all right here in one strike. Maybe get 6 or 7, maybe run a slant or a what I call hunt route or curl, and really set yourself up for fourth and medium.
3rd and 11. Well, obviously, you're in no man's land right now. You're too far away for a field goal attempt. You don't want to punt in this situation. You need yards. And to your point, if you make it 4th and manageable, you still go. And now we've got an official stoppage with 4:08.
I feel this is a critical down. I think it's a great timeout. Really reconvene. Make sure you have the right play. I think it's super critical in this situation to say, hey, let's take our time. With 4 minutes, you have some timeouts to spare. Let's call it. Make sure we have the right play. Talk to your guys. And really, once again, this is a critical drive. Going up 2 scores here, Jeff, going into the half at a minimum, would really put the Big Blue in a good situation heading into the second half here.
Along with Kyle Decker, I'm Geoff Kim. It's our 2020 football debut here on Chatterbox Live. Glad to have you along for the GMC. And a good tilt here in this one. 14-7, but knocking on the door is the Big Blue, and they're trying to make sure that last year their playoff appearance wasn't a fluke. I mean, this is the first. In fact, last year was their first appearance in the playoffs since 2010.
Yeah, and it's only their 5th overall. So a decade goes by and not making the playoffs. I was joking around at practice this week, call him Nate the Great, right? Mm-hmm. So he comes back to his alma mater, and he's a very modest guy. He didn't like that. But he is one of those great guys that is super humble and has humility, and he really wants to put Hamilton back on the map, and he's doing that.
Absolutely. So back they come out of the huddle. 4:08 frozen on the clock, 14-7. Pair of wides to the left side, and now they motion a man back to the near side and make trips to the right. Sims, Marshall, throwing left, home run left, into double coverage. Is it picked off? No, it is dropped at the 3-yard line. So that one thrown well into deep coverage, and he's very lucky that he didn't get picked out there by Leroy Bowers.
Quincy Sims-Marshall, talk about reservations for 6. Better pick up the tab for the dinner there, because what a great play. The offensive receiver became the defender by batting it down. Significantly underthrown. At that point, the receiver made a great play by just going up and really kind of batting down the ball there to make sure it wasn't picked off, to live another down.
So they're going to go on 4th down, as you would imagine, here at the 31-yard line. No, actually, they're going to punt. Looks like McCullough back at his own at the 44-yard line. A little pooch kick, you would imagine, spiraling towards the goal line and out of it. So it's a 31-yard punt officially, but the net's not very good.
Yeah, net of 11 there, I believe, and Princeton gets the ball. Big stop there. Let's give credit where credit's due. Princeton bend but don't break defense there. Great plays there to get the ball back. So 3:54, there's time. You might have to have a sense of urgency throughout a drive, but I really look forward to seeing what the play call in here is and what the Viking offense can do.
And setting up the Princeton offense, right? Last year, and I know this is last year, and it's this brand new year, so we kind of set things up with the year before. They threw 166 passes last year. They ran the ball 355 times. What's their recipe for success? It's the ground game. And the throw to the right, complete for a 5-yard gain.
That's Rodney Harris right there. Once again with a hitch route. Are they setting him up on the touchdown play? Hitch and go over top. That's how they scored before. Let's see what they call here.
Second and 5. Motion on the line, and they're going to stop it here with the flag. Motion on the right side of the Hamilton line.
So in practice this week, Rico Epps was not happy. Talk about a great defensive coordinator, by the way. He is really good. But he was not happy. He got into his guys this week. In the first 2 plays of team in practice, 2 offsides. So you could tell they corrected it, but here in the second quarter, maybe getting a little bit tired, they jumped offsides there.
Lynn looking left, throwing left, complete left. Out of the 36, receiver taking it up to the 40-yard line. That's our man with the favorite nickname, D-Lo, D'Angelo Foster.
Andy wears a strong number. Wearing 0 is a big deal. When you throw out, hey, I'm a position skill guy and I'm wearing 0, that's D-Lo is bold, and you see it right there, catching in traffic and making a great play. But it looks like it's going to be called back here, Jeff.
So the penalty negates the catch. D-Lo had come on in, well, at least from last year. He had 19 catches a year ago for 338 yards. That's nearly 18 per catch. And he had 4 touchdowns. But he also had 205 yards rushing on those end arounds that we saw earlier in this first half.
He has great speed. He's low and impact player as far as, he's not the tallest. He's probably not the heaviest, but he is really quick.
And the sun really in the eyes of the Big Blue defense as they're peering out to the near sideline. The sun really coming down. Lynn, the give. No, the keep. Out to the near side. He nonchalantly, in fact. I think he had everybody fooled as he took it across the 35 to the 36-yard line. I mean, he was loafing. Didn't even have the ball fully secured. But everybody was fooled on what looked like the give up the middle to Ari Turner.
Yeah, gracefully running. Once as a quarterback, I didn't have that ability, Jeff. I couldn't float like him. That's for sure.
The give to the running back. He's going to be short of the first down by about a yard. So Ari Turner, a gain of 2. What do they do here on 4th and 1?
I think really here comes Boyd, right? Called his number on 3rd and short again, and here comes Boyd, and I see it right up the middle. Running the 2 or 3 hole, Boyd right up the middle. I don't think it's going to be a surprise. It does look like Hamilton is trying to keep him in front, try to play position football.
They spread him out 3 wide to the far side. The give. No, the keeper for the quarterback. He has the first down the near seam. Cuts back to the 50, to the 40, and he dances out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. So a beauty on the deception, a pickup of 22.
Mekhi Lynn, once again, hurting the Big Blue with his feet. And really, he's a great athlete. And you see him right there on the perimeter, making moves, cutting it back against the grain. Really going and getting some yardage there.
They keep the big man Boyd in on this package here with the quarterback Lynn. First and 10 at the 39-yard line. He calls for it. He looks. He throws left. Complete left. Out to the 33-yard line. And he is tackled from behind, pushing forward close to the first down, out to the 30-yard line. That's number 8, Lamont Jackson.
And once again, the Hamilton defensive backs are 8 to 10 yards off, and they're backpedaling. So the underneath is there. So they're really trying to keep them in front. I look to see Hamilton maybe change it up and get back to what they've been running all half.
9-yard gain, 2nd and 1. The give to the tailback this time, and he's got the first down. Close to the 25-yard line. They're going to mark him at the 26, so a pickup there of just about 5.
And plenty of time. They're on the 25. They have 3 timeouts. Once again, they don't have to change the rhythm of their play calling. They can give it to Boyd. Once again, they can get out to Rodney Harris or the mixture of talented athletes they have. But it looks like they're going to continue to be 4 wide trips out to the right and the solo back here and a handoff to Boyd.
Boyd gets it out to the 20. Boy, he is a load. Even when you know he is coming, he is so hard to bring down. And you look at number 19, Breon Ishmael. He had to shake his head a little bit, shake off the cobwebs after the gain.
You would think the Hamilton Big Blue going against the law firm every week, but this guy's one level up from a size perspective, that's for sure. 2nd
and 4. They throw to the near side for Jackson. He'll get it in. Reservations for 6 again, his 2nd of the night.
Great play call. Getting right out, right to the flat one-on-one. And it looked like a zone read with an option, an RPO, be able to get it out to the flat. And somewhat of like a what I call a slant now. And had space, and right up the seam he goes.
20 yards on the TD pass to Jackson, his 2nd of the night, the 2nd of the career for Mekhi Lynn. We're a point after away from tying it up. 14-13 here in Hamilton. So we had some doldrums, some cobwebs to really clear out here in the first quarter. The second quarter, it's exactly what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that's really interesting, right? Hamilton was going in to take a 2-touchdown lead, and Princeton stops them and drives the whole field, long drive, and ties it up. Talk about another momentum swing in this game. Looks like it's going to go in potentially as a 14 game into halftime, setting up for a big second half.
So still waiting on the PAT, a little timeout here as we allow them to confer. 9-play drive, by the way, 80 yards, including a 4th down play on a 22-yard keeper to the near side for Mekhi Lynn. Then he connects with Jackson for the 2nd time tonight. It took 2 minutes and 41 seconds off the clock, and we're a point after away from tying it up. 14-13 is your score here in Hamilton.
Talk about 80 yards in 2 minutes and 41 seconds. That's a great drive. As a coach with a young team, we're talking about rebuild but potential reload. You see that type of drive deep in the second quarter when they've been under distress. You got to really be happy with that. And great plays by those players. See Mekhi Lynn after 2 interceptions settle in, make that quick throw. Kudos and hats off to him.
It's blocked. McCullough had come up with it, but they just wave it off, and the point after is no good. 14-13, so Comerica is 1 of 2 tonight, unfortunately for him, and he finds his team, the visiting Vikings, down by 1.
And you see defensive coordinator. That's a big play. Rico Epps out there hugging and hand pounding. That's a point. Every point matters, especially when you're talking about a close game like this. But you see, I was laughing this week, Jeff. Rico, it must be something about a defensive coordinator in the blood. I was talking to also defensive coordinator for the UC Bearcats, Marcus Friedman. He was in the office to do a podcast, and I said it must be something about defensive coordinators, the shape they're in. I said the dad bods of the offensive guys that are after the league just aren't in the same shape. Rico Epps could play ball. Marcus Friedman comes in. That guy can still play ball. I mean, it's incredible, these defensive coordinators. Something about the offensive guys lose it after college, and these defensive coordinators still got it going on. I said to those guys, I got to get on their game plan. So
1:13 left to play here in this first half. 14-13 is your score. Can't wait to see the band at halftime, and that's going to be a new feature here on Chatterbox Live, to see the marching band here at halftime. And we did see the Hamilton Marching Band, obviously, giving us the national anthem and their own alma mater in the pregame tonight.
And those kids just work just as hard as anyone, right?
Oh, I'll tell you about it in just a moment here. Upman takes it at the 18, 20, up the seam, 25, 30, 35, 38-yard line. So a nice return by one of the up men here for Hamilton.
For Hamilton, number 8, Keyshawn.
It's Keyshawn Johnson for a return of 20, and it'll be 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line with 1:07 to play. So let me tell you about the marching band for a second. And I can't vouch for this one. I can vouch for the one that I was in. So I marched over at Beaver Creek High School back in the Stone Age. And, we played in Marching Bandits of America competitions, OMIA competitions where you're trying to fight for a superior rating, so you're going to a state-level competition. We didn't have 2-a-days in the summer. We had 3-a-days in the summer.
Whoa. I just learned more about band in the last 30 seconds than I've ever learned.
Quick hitch out to the near side, incomplete out of the 40-yard line. Well defended out there. Anas Lukman, and he got some help by Masio Powell.
Great play to come off and get to the flat. Had his eyes inside. He had outside leverage kind of peeking in, and gets to the flat and makes a big separation there.
Just about a minute to play here in this first half. 14-13. Close encounters here in Hamilton tonight, here at the Schwarm. Sims Marshall calls for it, rolls right, looking right, tossing right, and nearly picked off out at the 40-yard line. I got to tell you, again, we call his number in Lukman, 15. He's going to be sick to his stomach after he knew that he had it right in his breadbasket.
Yeah, it would have been a tough catch, but going back to Quincy Sims Marshall, really the golden rule of a quarterback, you're rolling out to your right, don't throw back across your body. That's a general rule, but especially ball security at the end of the half, you're on your side of the field. That is one, again, Saturday mornings, that's going to be a discussion. Say, hey, we got to develop here. We can't throw across our body in late as is. So
3rd and 10, and we'll see if Princeton can get a stop here. The give to the tailback. He falls down trying to make the cutback right at the 40-yard line. And I would imagine that Princeton's going to call a timeout. No, it's going to be Hamilton. No, they do point the other way. Thank you. So it's going to be Princeton timeout. It would have been odd to see Hamilton call the timeout there.
And why not, right? Throw Leroy Bowers back there. Let him field, see what happens, and maybe throw 1 or 2 up to Rodney Harris on the outside, and who knows what could happen here.
It's been an exciting second quarter here in this one. Malik Verdon had a 3-yard touchdown run to get things started in the second quarter. Then it was a 55-yarder to Jackson from Mekhi Lynn, his first of the year, tied it up at 7. And then it was a 70-yard dart to Bowling, and you had the open field run to the middle of the field. Touchdown, extra point good, 14-7, and then back comes Princeton on a 20-yard touchdown pass, again from Lynn to Jackson. Point after got blocked, however, and that's where we're at right now, 14-13, with 49 seconds left to play here in this first half.
In week 1, could you ask for anything better? Because this is a great game, 14-13. We're playing football on a Friday night, 2 great programs going against it. Back and forth they go. And, what a great opportunity here in the GMC between 2 great teams.
So punting situation, and it'll be dual safety, so it looks like Foster and Bowers. Punt will come from the 40. The punter is back out at his own 28-yard line. Dylan Bitzer. Beg your pardon, it's Justin McCullough who is waiting there.
I think Coach Mahan's here burning his last time out to really evaluate where they had Bowers, really talk to his team on a coverage perspective to say, hey, we really, really need to be smart here. I wouldn't be surprised if they really kick it towards the sideline and really try to kick it out of bounds. Don't let anyone touch it, but also gain some yardage so it doesn't give Princeton a short field.
Well, that makes sense, right? I mean, and that's the reason why you see the dual safeties out there for Princeton. I want to get back to marching band for a second because now you opened up a can of worms. I'm gonna see if we can throw some into the pond and get some fish out of this.
So just to confirm, 3-a-days.
3-a-days.
Wow.
So keep in mind this, that you're learning music on the fly. You're trying to memorize this music as fast as possible. Now, I was lucky to be on the drum line, so there's no notes to be played. You're just trying to keep a beat, and actually get something out of that. It's the marching part that can confound some, right? Now, with typical show bands at halftime, you don't have a lot of drill. But when you play in a competing marching band, 200 drill moves in a competition show might not be unusual.
You know why we're a great partner already? I know I got big shoes to fill here with Trace, but you're music talented. I have no ability there. Oh,
A drop out of the 24. Looks like it was recovered by the return man out to the, we're trying to see, about the 23-yard line.
that was dangerous. And you hate to see that, too, with less than a minute to go. A bobbled punt, you're holding your breath if you're in Viking Nation, but they figure out, they pounce on the ball, and they have an opportunity here. I wouldn't be surprised, Jeff, if they really hand the ball off and go into the locker room at a 14-13 score.
Oh, absolutely. Now, for Princeton, however, since they got the ball to start out the game, they wouldn't get to start the third quarter, so it makes you wonder if Coach Mike Daniels is thinking about it all, or if he's thinking like you are. Be conservative, only go down by one, let your defense play. Here's Lynn on the deep drop, looking, throwing to the right side in traffic. Is it a catch? It was awfully close to the ground out at the 33-yard line.
And Hamilton, and rightfully so, is going to continue to stay with the two corners, cover too high, and really the corners off, and really keep everything in front of them. They did that last drive, which kind of maybe hurt them a little bit, giving the Vikings some space underneath, and they exploited that. But here, with less than 35 seconds, they're really going to kind of keep everything in front.
So incomplete on the pass to Foster, 2nd down and 10. Now, it's an empty backfield. It's a single wing. Deep drop again for Lynn. Now steps up, rolls to the right. He'll be brought down at the 19-yard line.
And that might do it for the half. I would say no timeouts with Hamilton, and in Princeton, if you're Coach Daniels, you're just saying, hey, let's go into halftime at a 14-13 score.
So the other Verdon gets to tackle tonight. Gabe Verdon, 6'1", 225. As we roll under 10 seconds, and we'll see if that'll be the end of it here. Both teams just kind of hanging out at the line of scrimmage, and that's it. So we're done with one quarter, actually one half, 2 quarters here in Hamilton, and we've got a close encounter here in this one. 14-13 is your score. The home team leads it by 1. We'll come back with our halftime show when we return here on Chatterbox Live. Here's what's coming up on our schedule, subject to change, but here's what's on our schedule for week 2. Coleraine at Oak Hills, Hamilton, this team that we're seeing tonight, at Lakota West, Mount Healthy at Edgewood, Mason at Lakota East, Middletown at Fairfield, and Talawanda at Harrison. You know what? I know Trace Fowler is just right behind us here at some point. I think we're going to have to press him to see which game that we want to get for week number 2. I got to tell you right now, I'm staring deeply at the Hamilton Lakota West game.
I agree. I think Twitter should put some pressure on Chatterbox Sports or Trace to say, okay, hey, they want Kyle and Kim here, Mr. Geoff, to call the biggest game. And I think Hamilton at Lakota, that's going to be a huge, huge game. So,
well, you know what? I will say this. If you really do want to find Trace out on Twitter, just find him at cbox. And maybe you can get your message across. So we're just about set to go here in this third quarter.
And talk about Twitter real quick. We released Luke Fickle. So there's a picture of me. If you want to go check out some craziness, give Trace a hard time. But I'm holding on to – you remember at Connecticut when Luke Fickle was hanging on by the ceiling and the rafters? I don't know if you saw that, Geoff. But that's me out there. So you guys probably think I'm crazy. And after tonight, they might think so. So anyway.
Squibber at the 20, coming up the middle, 25, 30, 35. Return man to the 40. So a nice big return on a short kick to start things off. 1st and 10 with 11:53 left to go here in this third. So Keyshawn Stevens, a return of 20. And that's the thing. When you have a game breaker as a sideline guy and maybe not the deep guy, something that Trace brought up a lot during the last season, and since he's here, I'll allude to him, but, we'll talk about this. Sometimes it's just better maybe perhaps to think about kicking it out of bounds and starting it right at the 40.
So real quick, I was gonna add a comment, but how is Kyle versus Trace? I hear a lot of Trace coming in the second half once again. So, no, we got to give Trace. It's a blessing for me to join your guys' team. I'm really enjoying it, and let's see the second half here.
The keep by Sims Marshall up the middle, breaks a tackle to the 45, and nowhere else left to go after you broke a tackle and gained nearly 4 on the play. So the drive officially starts at the 41-yard line, and they're going to place it at the 44, a pickup of 3.
And that's, you want to three at a pop, right? So second and medium here, second and 7, putting yourself and your offense in a good position.
Second down, we'll call it 7. Just underway here in this third, 14-13. They'll set up on the near hash mark. Sims Marshall.
Something to look at here, Jeff. You see too high. It looks like they're going to try to maybe take away the pass, and that's why you see a run here.
And Sims Marshall with a big push behind the hog mile. He's up front, gets nearly a first down out of that play, a pickup of 6, maybe 7.
Interesting adjustment by Coach Daniels by putting too high. Darian Bowling, once again, give credit where credit's due. He made a lot of big plays. So they must have talked about in the halftime, how do we contain Darian Bowling amongst many others? And you see, cover 2, and looks like they're going to try to make Hamilton run the rock.
Third down, we're going to call it 1, right at midfield, out of the 50-yard line. 10:35 left to play here in this third. 14-13 is your score. Hamilton with a 1-point lead.
Looks like they're going to run a little wildcat here with Malik.
So Verdon up the middle, off the right side, breaks through a tackle, and gets a first down out to the 40, down the sideline to the 35-yard line where he's pushed out of bounds. Needed 1, got about 15 on the play.
And it's great to see running back leading the way. I believe it was Keyshawn Stevens clearing it out with a great pin block, and Malik coming right behind him for a big gain. That's unselfish football. When you see a running back lead the way, clear out a hole, and when you're not worried about your carries, once again, there's only so many footballs that go around to these players, and you see that type of effort and mentality, that's great to see, that relentless effort.
First and 10 at the 35-yard line. Single wideouts to each side. Sims Marshall, no, is it Verdon again, out to the 30 and inside the 30-yard line. So a nice 5-yard pickup there again for Verdon off that right side, and they're favoring that right side here.
Yeah, they see something there and it's working. He took a step left and then he pivoted and came back to the weak side of the field and great, almost broke away. Cornerback peeled off of Bowling there, make a great tackle, and really prevented probably a potential reservation for 6 there.
Behind the right side, Jacob Harmon on that side, Chris Lawson on that side for Hamilton. Second, and we're going to call it 4, just inside the 30. They're going to place the ball at the 29-yard line with 9:36 left to play here in this third. Quarterback looking left, throwing left, home run left, down to the sideline. Is it caught out at the 2? No, it's incomplete. The ball came out at the end of the play.
Great coverage, great play there. Playing physical, was able to get there, make a great play on the ball. They're trying to high point there, but the defensive back was really able to not create that separation, or the wide receiver wasn't create the separation, got the hand up there. Great pass deflection.
Now, so on the long pass play on second down, right, it's 3rd and 4. Does the defense actually tighten in knowing that they're not worried about the pass play, or are they giving a little bit more space, aware of the pass?
With 3rd and short, the defensive backfield, I would imagine, is going to come back up. Really, they want to prevent getting and moving the sticks and really put them in a position to stop them here.
Pistol set and a blitz, and the quarterback is going to be snowed under out at the 35-yard line, a 6-yard loss on the play.
Looks like Jalen Stoker, outside linebacker, coming through. Junior was one of the guys in on the play. Great play.
Making the defensive play for the Vikings, number 15, Anna Slugman.
So 4th and 10 on a 6-yard loss that pins them back to the 35-yard line. And again, that's no man's land. You don't want to punt. I think they're going to punt with McCullough here, but you don't want to punt in this situation because the last time they were in a similar situation, they had an 11-yard net.
Yeah, this is a tough one because it's still 4th and long, and like you said, it's no man's land. This is not a desirable state to be in.
Punt. McCullough will throw it to the near side, and it is dropped out of the 15, and now we've got flags at the end of the play. And if this turns out to be pass interference on the defense, you're going to have to say that Hamilton's living right.
Yeah, it looks like it was a little bit underthrown, came back to make a play on the ball. Verdon, great job to try to come back And sometimes the worst balls become the best balls, Jeff. And it was significantly underthrown, but it really gave the opportunity for the offense to look back when the defender is blinded. Verdon was able to come back, and there was a lot of activity while he was trying to come back and get the ball, which created that pass interference, and it looks like it's going to be a first down, Big Blue.
8:28 frozen on the clock. 14-13 is your score, and here's the call coming on up. Obviously on the defense, and Hamilton gets resurrected like Lazarus.
Wow. Zingers coming out in the second half here. But let's give Justin McCullough, the punter, a little bit of credit. Yeah, it was underthrown, but he gave him a chance, right? Yes. That's all you ask for, especially when a punter or McCullough is typically a defender, right? He gave Verdon a chance to come back, and just putting it in that catch radius was a big deal. And so that's a tough deal. The kid's got gloves on, he's playing defense, and all of a sudden you're saying, hey, go ahead and throw a fly route.
So 1st and 10, they'll run it out of the pistol. Bowling's the lone wide out to the right. They'll run to the right again. Here's the ball carrier inside the 25 out to the 23-yard line.
For Hamilton, the ball carrier was number 8.
Running to the right side again. Running to the field, though. Running to the strength. But they're really keying in on that right side of the offensive line, doing a great job. Another 3-4-yard gain, 2nd and medium here.
So Keyshawn Stevens taking the ball out of the Wildcat. Nothing new to him. We saw him do that plenty last year. But even before that, the year before that, he was a quarterback for this Hamilton team before Quincy Sims-Marshall emerged.
So what I might synopsis from that could be maybe he does throw a ball as well, right?
Yes.
You never know, right?
So the give up the middle, 22-yard line.
For Hamilton, the ball carrier number
Looks like it's going to be another
Stevens.
Stevens, another nice run there, and it's going to be 3rd and short here for the Big Blue. I would look here, Jeff, to probably maybe put Malik into the Wildcat and/or give it to one of your tailbacks and really just power up the middle. Once again, two possessions to get 4 yards is how I'm looking at it.
Beg your pardon. It's the other member of the law firm, Caleb Johnson, on the pickup. So it's 3rd and 3. High snap. The give to the right side, running back to the 10, to the 5. He's gone! 20-13. On the touchdown here, the first one of the year for Caleb Johnson.
Caleb Johnson could have drove a Mack truck through that hole. Great hole created by that right side of the offensive line. And really, Caleb just used his speed to run right up there and score a touchdown.
So Rios on to kick on the point after.
And I think it was just a matter of time to get these tailbacks going. 10 carries for 20 yards combined is not the stats that you would imagine. So I think in the second half, you're really going to see these guys really get moving.
So this turns into a big extra point, and this bad boy is good. 21-13 as we count up the plays in a long drive. On a 10-play drive that goes 60 yards, it takes roughly 4 minutes and 47 seconds off the clock. The long touchdown by Johnson, his first of the year. Point after is good. 21-13, brand new score here in Hamilton.
And that's what you love to see. Open up the half, first series on offense, and move the ball for 4+ minutes, distributed in different areas. But how big is that punt, right? I mean, let's talk about that again. That's a big penalty, big punt. Change of momentum now with converting that 4th down, and now an 8-point lead, and now we'll see how Princeton responds.
7:06 on the clock left to go, and an 8-point lead, the biggest lead of the ball game here, and it's to the Big Blue, 21-13. Along Kyle Decker, the rookie. I'm Geoff Kim, the old man. Glad to have you along here on Chatterbox Live.
I think, Jeff, you might be younger looking than me. So.
Now, I'm looking back to the Prince of Hamilton, and he's got nothing. He's got nothing on this one. All right.
So you did say I had the biggest shoes as a partner to fill in. So, I got to, really make sure I'm nice to you, because I don't know if you're going to ask me back next week to Hamilton West. So
I kind of like the fact that you kind of threw in that you know where we're going already.
Yeah. Before I left the house, my wife was like, hey, you better be nice to Jeff, because I need you out of the house on a Friday night. So She wants me at Lakota next week, so.
Here's the kick from Rios, and it's angled to the left side and into the end zone for a touchback, the second one tonight.
How about giving a little bit of credit for the brand, which is special teams? Rios knocking out of the back of the end zone. High school, that's just not normal all the time, is to see that type of, and with the weapons like Leroy Bowers back there, Rios being able to put it back there. Don't underplay that. As I call it, for the brand and special teams. Good to see.
I think we only saw one kicker last year that was able to do that consistently, and I'm thinking through this. LaSalle had a kid named, is it Justin? Jake Siebert. Jake Siebert.
And he went to the Buckeyes, right?
He did go to Columbus, yes. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line with 7:05 to play. And a couple yards on that first down carry. So the big man Boyd, Thomas the Train as you like to call him. Now I'd really like to see that Diesel run straight line. Now the thing here is that with Hamilton's defense, I don't think there's going to be such thing as a straight line run tonight.
Yeah, I really think that it's you got to get the train moving downhill, right? You got to get the wheels in motion, and that's key. Now he's in the pistol formation. It'll be interesting if they give him a second carry in a row.
Pair of wides on each side. They motion a man back, and now it's trips to the right. Pistol look, and now we've got motion.
Jeff, do you know what Thomas the Train is?
Now, wasn't this the animated or the pseudo-animated character that was once voiced by the late, great George Carlin?
Wow, you one-up me. I didn't even know that. I just know I got 2 little boys, and they love Thomas the Train. So you always, now I got to realize I got to up my game even more so. Man, I put you on the spot, and you throw, one level up.
2nd and 14, and a mishandle, and the quarterback taking it back in the end zone. He's escaping out to the 5, down the sideline, out to the 10, and he turned absolutely disaster, nothing into something.
If you don't have an athlete like Makai Lynn scooping that ball up and turning and moving and getting really 10 to 12 yards, almost a safety to 10 to 12 yards here on the 12 or 13-yard line. Incredible play, athletic play. And now it's not a surprise that these college coaches are saying, hey, this is an athlete that they're looking at the next level.
So ultimately it's a loss of 2, but that thing could have been a safety or a touchdown for Hamilton, and that could have broken the game wide open. Deep drop for Lynn, looking deep, throwing to the right, and it's out there into a bouncer. Incomplete out on the right side. Couldn't tell if it was Rodney Harris or Lamont Jackson. Both were in the neighborhood, and it's punting time here for Princeton.
Momentum is moving, right, Jeff? So we're starting to see Hamilton really kind of take control of this game, and it looks like they're going to get good field position to go and potentially go up 2 scores here.
And the punt for Princeton is
so out of their own 14-yard line, the punter is going to go back into his own end zone, it appears. Dylan Bitzer. Bowling is inside the 50-yard line. He's out at his at the Princeton 44. So he is the deep man here. Bitzer waits. A high snap. It's dropped. Now he's running for his life. Out of the pocket. He boots it on a rugby-style punt and gets it away out to the 25, to the 27, 28-yard line. He turned absolute disaster again into something. And, wow, they stay alive for the moment.
I'm almost speechless. 2 plays in a row. Incredibly gifted plays to really take we talk once again, this is where the adversity hits. When I talk about the event and what the response is, be able to pick that ball up, get it, and really, while he was getting that ball off, he was getting hit. What an incredible play by the punter there to really, really get it off and give Princeton an opportunity here to potentially stop the Big Blue.
Well, I'll tell you this. So that probably should have been a sack for a safety. If he lost the ball, a recovery by Hamilton and a touchdown. Instead, he rolls to the left, has enough speed, gets it away on a very awkward-looking rugby-style kick, but it does the job. It's a 14-yard punt, nothing on the return, but really great field position. But if nothing else, you don't guarantee Hamilton to score on that play, and that's the number 1 key.
And when you think about a safety, that's not only 2 points, but then it's a short field coming back. So that is a huge, huge play right there to really keep Princeton in this game and to give them that chance to say, hey, anything can happen, right? And that's what you really talk about at the high school level is just play the next play, right? Don't turn it over. Just try to make the most of that play. And right there, he's going to give this defense an opportunity on a short field still to make a stop.
Want to remind you to stay right here after the game on ChatterboxSports.com or right here on the Chatterbox Sports app. Reed Mouse will wrap things up on our opening night action with the box score, and we can't wait for that one tonight. That should be a dandy. It'll be a whip around here around the region. Obviously, we'll have some touchdown plays that'll be on the show tonight. Can't wait for it.
Can't wait either. Football Friday night. And we were going to expect the unexpected, right? You even threw it out there. I'm knocking on wood, which those that can't see, I'm knocking on my head, that there was going to be a rainstorm or a lightning storm. And I hope to goodness that doesn't happen. But we're going to continue to play here in the second half. Really excited for these kids to be able to play football here in Southwest Ohio in one of the best conferences. Let's touch upon that real quick.
Sure.
The GMC, from a conference perspective in the state of Ohio, is arguably one of the toughest, and I think the quality of football you're seeing here tonight in Week 1 is reiterating that fact.
Well, absolutely, and the thing is there are some divisions, some levels on this. Last year, the top two teams were clearly the top two teams of the conference and really of the area, Colerain and Fairfield. And you can argue, maybe outside the conference in the GCL South that maybe perhaps St. X was awfully good, for instance. But Colerain and Fairfield were awfully good. Lakota West is up and coming. I think just based upon what we've seen in the offseason, knowing what they've added in the offseason, and that quarterback, the coach's son, Mitch Bolden's a year older, you might even consider them a favorite in this conference this year.
Yeah, when Tom Bolden went to Lakota West, and then Nate Mahan comes to Hamilton, and really a couple years ago, Coach Daniels, you talk about really great coaches that had talent. Now they're developing these programs. As you mentioned, it's been a top-heavy conference. But I think you're going to see, and obviously you see Fairfield making a move up last year, obviously being extremely competitive, Mason, and you're really seeing, I think you're going to see the depth of the GMC to start, and one of these teams, such as Hamilton, could compete at the top of this conference.
The give to the tailback, it looks like Caleb Johnson, and it is, and it's a loss.
John Harris in there, senior inside linebacker, coming up, and you see how excited he was ready to pop him there.
As we mentioned in the first half, leading returning tackler on this team. He had 75 tackles a year ago. Again, Coach Daniels calls him the heart of this team. He's the guy who's calling the signals. So if he sees something on the Hamilton line that he doesn't like, he's calling it out.
When I see an inside linebacker, I think of a guy like Khalil Mack, right? A guy that just like there, he can seek that ball. He's a game player, and he gets to the ball. It's really quick.
Quick pass out to the near sideline, caught out at the 22-yard line. Receiver taking it out of bounds, maybe for another yard after that. Was that Bowling on the reception? It looks like it was Bowling, yes.
And he throws back shoulder there, and Bowling does a great job getting his head around and really getting both hands. That's a difficult catch. Back shoulder, low and outside, great grab. Once again, Bowling making big plays.
He had over 100 yards in the first half catching the ball, so we're expecting big things out of him here in 2020, and he is primed for it. Third, and we're calling it 3 with 5:08 left to go here in this third period. 21-13 in favor of the home team, the Big Blue of Hamilton. So a pistol formation, and then the quarterback giving to the running back. Out to the 20. He's close to a first down. Off that right side. He needed 3 to move the chains, and that being, again, Caleb Johnson.
Caleb Johnson.
Running on that right side of the line. No hidden treasure there. You got Chris Lawson on each side. These left tackles, Derek Deaton on both sides, really making great blocks, giving these guys some opportunities to create and convert there.
4:58 frozen on the clock. Didn't see an official timeout, but the way that Hamilton has gone on over to the near sideline, it kind of indicates that we do have that stoppage, that official stoppage in play. So third down, and it looks like we'll see if they bring in the chain game. They will bring in the chain game from the far side.
For more than 20 years, Logan's Furniture is a proud supporter of Big Blue Athletics.
That offensive line, once again, You have Hayden Renner, 5'9", 250, junior, really making some waves there. Dustin Brock, left guard, 6'5", 280, senior. First night at home here in Hamilton. These guys up front really, really playing some physical football.
Don't make us wait any longer for this one. First down.
And that's another thing. You guys are looking close at these jerseys. I love that it says Big Blue on the back. It's not about the individual name. It's about the team. It's about the city of Hamilton, which I love that. I really do.
4:58 frozen on the clock. We're waiting for the reset on this one after the third down running play to Caleb Johnson. He got the first down, and we'll move the change. 1st and 10 at the 18-yard line. So we're in the red zone once again. It's multiple times now here in the second half. And so you almost think that big offensive line's really found that momentum.
Yeah, and you see still the safeties. They're shadowing Bowling here. In the free safety and the strong safety are still in the picture at these outside wide receivers.
Bowling a single to the right. And they instead go to the running play, and they knock down Caleb Johnson for a minimal gain.
Great play, and they're bringing aggressive defense, which Princeton is known for, bringing some pressure and making a big play there, especially on first down in the red zone. That is huge. Now it's 2nd and long.
Defensive back Jason Randall made the stop. 2nd down, we're calling it 11 on the loss of 1. So we've seen a lot of Johnson here in the late minutes. We haven't seen Stevens so much here, maybe about since towards the beginning of this third period. So they still keep out Johnson in the backfield with Sims Marshall. This time they'll line him up in the pistol as the deep back. And now a deep drop. Home run to the near side, looking for Bowling, and is in and out of his hands, out of the corner of the end zone.
I don't like that throw right there, Jeff. It was evident that safety was over top, and I think that's a little bit of a force, right? And for a senior quarterback like Quincy Sims Marshall, identifying that and potentially having a secondary route and not forcing it in, you can't blame him. Throwing up to Bowling, that kid is special. But really, I think as this season evolves, he's going to identify where that safety is and where the corner's playing. And as much as he wants to force it in, there's got to be some other options there.
3:45 frozen on the clock, 3rd and 11 at the 19-yard line. You're within Eric Rios' range, but you want 6 here. Here's the Wildcat. Is it Stevens? Up the middle, out towards the 15-yard line. It's going to be well short of the first down, but if nothing else, if you center up the ball, you give Rios a better shot from there.
And that looks like what they did. Great call there. I think they ran it off there and say, hey, either we're going to hopefully break a 3rd and long or set our kicker up, who's a really, really solid kicker, Rios, to punch one through here. And this is big because this makes it, from an 8-point to an 11-point, which is actually a 2-touchdown score. So setting it up, I don't mind that call. That could maybe say, hey, why are they running a run play off the left tackle on 3rd and long? Well, this is why if he hits it here.
It's a 33-yard attempt. Good snap. The place to kick is away. It's off the upright. No good. It pinwheeled out. I mean, you want to talk about unlucky, and it's still a 1-possession game here with 2:56 left to go here in this third.
A thin line between winning and losing. Mere inches there. That hits slightly inside of that post. It's going through, and it's a 2-touchdown score, right? That's how close the game of football is. And sometimes people realize it's a thin line right there. And literally a couple inches dictated where that ball went.
So if you're Hamilton, beg your pardon, if you're Princeton now, you're thinking, well, we just dodged a major bullet here. And we've been dodging bullets all through this third quarter. With plays in the end zone, and they're able to come out and escape, and no points on a short field after a rugby-style 14-yard punt. They're living right now here in the second half.
Just hang around, right? They talk about in the NCAA March Madness, just hang around. Hang around and upsets can happen, right?
Coming to the near side is a speedster across the 25, 30, 35, 40, to the 50, down to the 40, and he's pushed out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. Again, that's the speedster out there, D-Lo.
Love that play call. First down, they mix it up with an end around and catches Hamilton off guard. They're flowing one way. They got speed back coming the other way, and now they're going up tempo.
Out to the 31-yard line. That's a 49-yard run for Foster. First and 10 at the 31. Quick snap. It goes to the tailback. Ari Turner across the 30 and out to the 27-yard line. Well, now they're feeling it.
They are going now, Jeff. And I think that is something a well-coached team does. They live, they keep living, they keep living. All right, hey, we're going to take it and double down with the end around, and then no huddle tempo, and they're playing now aggressive and to win. I think these kids are going to enjoy that.
Lynn calls for the ball, looking left, throwing left, and it is deflected and nearly picked off at the 30-yard line.
That's a big deflection. He was wide open on the short side of the field. That was going to be at least a gain for 6 or 7.
Right, and Ishmael was there to bat it down and nearly pick it away. Intended out there for Jackson, who's got 2 touchdowns already tonight. So he does like this side of the field, as he got those in the last half. 3rd and 6. Lynn waiting for it, looking left, throwing left, complete left, and it's a lateral to Foster! He's gone!
The hook and ladder in week 1. And
Ari Turner, beg your pardon! 21-19, Mercy! On a 31-yard pass play. Wow!
I feel like Coach Daniels is playing Madden where he says, okay, hey, we're going to run. We're going to just lay it all down and bring all the tricks out in the bag of tricks in week 1. A bold move driving like that. A hook and ladder? Wow.
In week 1. So do you go for 2 here, or do you opt for the extra point attempt?
I think they've been struggling. I've been watching throughout the evening, Jeff, on each score. It hasn't come easy. I think at this point in time, with 2 minutes in the third, I would go for it here. And that looks like what they're going to do.
So on the lateral play, and now here we go. They're going for 2. They motion a man to the right, and they motion the quarterback to the right, throwing right. It is incomplete right. Never had a shot at it. And looking for his favorite target in Rodney Harris Jr. And again, this is where misconversions come back to bite you, because you now force yourself into situations like this and you fall even more behind, down by 2. 21-19 with 2:05 left to play here in this third.
And it goes back to giving the extra point as much value as it is, right? Because missing that extra point, now they got to go for 2. They don't convert. Now they're still down 2 points. And now with Rios, say even Hamilton gets back. I know he just hit one off the post, but he is a dangerous weapon. And now he hits a field goal. It's a touchdown score game.
So that drive, 3 plays, that went 80 yards. It took up 51 seconds off the clock. The lateral from Jackson to Turner. No good on the 2-point conversion, 21-19. We've got a dandy here tonight here in Hamilton.
For my first game, it couldn't be any better, right?
Well, I got to say again, right? You see the hook and ladder here, or the hook and lateral on week 1. I have to tell you, I'm just stunned. It's something that you see late in the season when the season's on the line. So the way they're playing right now, they feel like the season's on the line in week 1.
Yeah, and their leader is dialing it up, right? And the players thrive off of that. Player loves this play to win. And they see that play call and give those kids credit, right? They executed that on the short side of the field. That's not an easy play. That takes a ton of timing.
Taken by the up man at the 23 is that Stevens again out of the 28. This time, if it is, they bottled him up for a 5-yard gain. Cut back to the middle, and this time they filled the middle, or the last time that he returned the ball, they were all over the place. It's only a pickup of 5.
And if you watch the nonverbals of each sideline, the Princeton sideline is fired up, and you can see him moving around where Hamilton's looking a little bit stunned. And you can even hear they're across the field, but Viking Nation is starting to make a little bit of noise.
Close encounters here with under 2 to play. 1:57 on the clock, 21-19. Along with Kyle Decker, I'm Geoff Kim. Glad to have you along. It's the Greater Miami Conference here on Chatterbox Live. We've had a fun one tonight, and we can't wait to see the highlight show, the box score after this one. And we want you to stick right here on chatterboxsports.com, or if you don't already have the app, go to the App Store. Whether it's on Android or your iPhone, go to the App Store, find Chatterbox Sports, and get the app and stay with us here for the postgame.
And if my mom and dad can figure out the app, anybody can. So they're tuning in from Columbus, Ohio to listen to the broadcast. So, Mom and Dad, if you're out there, love you. But if they can figure it out, anyone can figure it out. So definitely download that app and give us a shot. Give us some feedback, too. So give me my rookie experience.
Well, give you some feedback. I think, I got to tell you, I felt the backhand of our Chatterbox crowd on the odd occasion. And it's like, you know what? We can deflect the blame on somebody else for a night.
Hey, I'll take it, man. I probably deserve it, and you can give me the rookie piece there.
We need a break. We'll take a timeout right here. 21-19. Back in a moment here on Chatterbox Live. 21-19 here in Hamilton, the home team by 2, along with Kyle Decker. I'm Geoff Kim. The give to the tailback, up the middle, across the 30, into the secondary to the 40, and he nearly broke it.
A shoestring tackle that close from breaking it all the way. I think eventually he might get that reservation for 6. He's getting close.
So Johnson, after he had been stymied here pretty much on the last drive, he broke away. First down gain on first down, move the chains, 1st and 10. They moved the ball up to the 45-yard line after a pickup of 17, and again, he was one man away from breaking it. Trips to the near side, a single out to the far side. It's bowling to the closest to us, and we'll see if they go after him again. He's got zero coverage on his near side, looking for him, throwing his way, and playing it for him, and it's incomplete.
And there again, Quincy Sims-Marshall didn't get it. He short and inside. What we teach quarterbacks, and mind you, like I said, I wasn't the best, but the one thing, I really focused on deep balls was you can't, 90% of the time, you got to put it on the out front or on the back shoulder, and there was another perfect case example. When you throw it inside, that's dangerous territory. The safety's feeding over, and the cornerback's trailing, and he's got to give Darian Bowling a little bit more of a chance here.
And Bowling has the same coverage. Maceo Powell broke up the last one, and he's got one-on-one on the outside. Looking right instead, they'll give to the tailback, and really nowhere to go. Barely got back to the line of scrimmage. So Johnson for no gain. So they missed an opportunity on the long pass play, and they did see it, but let's be fair here. Quincy Sims-Marshall has good arm. It is really hard to throw from the far hash line to the near sideline.
Yeah, and Quincy's a great quarterback, and I know he's a great leader, great kid. And I think, like you said, that's a tough throw at the high school level to get it out there, and I think he's going to continue to put great balls and for Darian to give some plays. So
deep drop for the quarterback, now flushed out of the pocket, rolling right, holding on to it, throwing on the run. It is caught at the 34-yard line. Or is it incomplete? Did they move it? And we got a down player here as well out at the 49-yard line. So Sims-Marshall looks like he got beat up pretty good at the end of that play.
Yeah, he took a low hit. It looked like he was rolling out right hard. What a great throw. Unfortunately, I hope he's okay. Definitely took it. I hope it's a cramp. They look like they're stretching him, but he did take a low shot there as he was throwing the ball. But what a great play. We talk about coming back from adversity, an underthrow that was almost intercepted. He rolls out right, throws a dart. Great ball, great play, and it looks like he's going to be okay.
And that's good news, and it is 4th down, so it must have bounced right before it got to the receiver. But, again, to your point, right, I mean, this is – if you're in the film room, right, and you're dissecting plays, you can't always judge a play by its play success or the effectiveness of a quarterback by the completion of the play. Sometimes it's a drop. Sometimes, it's just a situational thing. So he was rushed heavy by 2 defenders behind him and was able to throw on the move with some zip on it, and he centered up his receiver was just a hair short. I still call that a good play, even though it's incomplete.
Yeah, it was a great play. He was under duress. He's rolling out. The main thing, Jeff, when you're rolling out as you're going is, I always say your front shoulder is the laser. And I teach quarterbacks, I've helped on the side or the last 10 years in Loveland, is really get that shoulder pointed right at the target. He did a great job. Even though he was running out to his front side, he was still able to rotate that shoulder enough. And where that shoulder is, and that's why it's important to keep that level playing field with that shoulder, and he drove the ball in nice, and I'm glad he's going to be okay, that's for sure. And he was taking a hit as he threw.
And we're seeing at the end of that play, head coach Mike Daniels talking to the officials. He's rather animated. Got a chance to talk to him before the ball game tonight. That guy is a ball of energy. I mean, I understand why guys play for a guy like that. He's full of enthusiasm, sees the best in his young men, and says, hey, we're going to try like the Dickens to win this thing. And right now they're in the ball game, down by 2.
He's a bright young coach, really making headway here at Princeton. I think he was up for the Tony Dungy award that granted to different coaches on their success in developing them. And, I think he's a guy that's going to continue to put Princeton in a great position. He's passion, right? You can't teach passion and purpose. Princeton is very fortunate enough to have him back.
4th and 10, and McCullough back to kick, and now it almost looked like he was going to try to fake them out again. Didn't really get into a punting formation. Instead, they call for the TO. With 33 seconds left to go here in this third.
One thing about McCullough in practice, one thing I liked about him, he seemed to communicate. He seemed to have command of the defense. He seemed to really be talking back there, telling the corners and linebackers, really over-communicating. And he's a guy, he'll punt, he'll make tackles, he'll do whatever you ask him to do.
Foster and Bowers waiting back out at the 25-yard line. They call fair catch. Out at 23, and the ball's lost. It's still loose out of the 25-yard line. Bowers, I believe, came up with it. And that's a second. No, actually, it is Foster. So Foster came up with it, but another muff here on special teams for Princeton.
Living by a thread. The ball is bouncing their way, and if it continues to bounce that way, they're going to have a chance, but they're going to have to clean that up. That's eventually the ball doesn't lie, right? Eventually, it's going to bounce the other way if they keep putting it in possession and giving that ability for a turnover. It's going to go the other way eventually.
30-yard punt, nothing on the return. Under a half minute left to play. The quarterback keeping. Lynn across the 25, looking for the 30, and he can't get it. Knocked out of bounds right around the 29-yard line. Keyshawn Stevens.
Flowing downhill fast, right? He's on one side of the ball. He's running downhill. On the other side, he is tracking quick.
We'll see. 10 seconds left to go here in this third. We'll see if they get another play off. They're still coming to the line. 3 seconds left to go, and they won't get it off. So that's the end of 3 periods here in Hamilton. Your score, 21-19, the Big Blue leading the Princeton Vikings. This is the game of the week here on Chatterbox Live. One more quarter left to go here in Hamilton. It's the Big Blue leading the Vikings 21-19. Along with Kyle Decker, I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here. It's the Greater Miami Conference here on Chatterbox Live. So they switch sides of the field, and they go left to right. Second down. Here's Lynn, deep drop with time, throwing with time, home run with time. It is picked off at the 31-yard line. No, the ball came out at the end.
Great play there to come back, just couldn't squeeze it. As a lot of wide receivers and quarterbacks or coaches would say, that's why he's on the defensive side of the ball.
James Turner with the pass breakup.
It's fourth quarter, Jeff, and the one thing that you rely on is a leader on defense. And I think a guy that we're going to see step up here in the fourth quarter for Hamilton is Jordan Jones, senior that's going to have to make some big plays here.
Second down and 6, pass complete, and it looks like his favorite target. And if it's the case, it's out there to Lamont Jackson, who got a couple of touchdowns in the first quarter.
Yeah, Rodney Harris, kind of came in. He's had a nice game as well, but Lamont Jackson has really, really stepped up.
The give to the Diesel. The Train taking it up the middle, off right tackle, across the 40 to the 45-yard line. Thomas the Train.
It's hard not to give it to that guy. I'm telling you, if I'm the play caller, it's hard not to give that guy the rock.
They go quickly to the line, trips to the near side, and they put the Train in the backfield. They give it back to him. He motions right, goes back to the left, and gets the first down.
He reminds me a little bit in a different kind of way, Jerome Bettis the bus.
I was going to go that way. So we've had a train analogy and a bus analogy tonight.
He loves transportation, and he is on the move.
1st and 10 at the 50. They're on the move. And the quarterback keeping Lynn off the left side, and he's fighting for space and a lose yardage on the play. Great job of recognition by Hamilton. And that's Keyshawn Stevens on the stop.
So they go Boyd, and then they pull it out with Mackay to try to get him on the outside. Great play to keep Mackay contained. And right now it's 2nd and long, which doesn't bode well tonight as much, obviously, for Princeton when you're 2nd and 12.
Trips again to the near side. Boyd's in the backfield with Lynn. Deep drop with time. Home run down the deep middle. It is caught at the 10, out to the 5. First and goal coming on up. No, incomplete.
Wow. So the ball has been bouncing Hamilton's way. And there, somehow, some way, that falls out of possession. And
it looked like it was good going to the ground, and then it came out, and they call it incomplete.
They finally get Rodney Harris. It was broken coverage. I think Malik Verdon, something happened there. Not really quite sure, but there was almost 10 to 15 yards of separation for Rodney Harris, and unfortunately he couldn't come down there for the Vikings.
So Harris to the near side here, you saw to the sideline on Tripp's right. Lynn looking again, and now we've got a whistle and a timeout charge to Hamilton. With 10:26 left to go in this game, 21-19. Along with Kyle Decker, I'm Geoff Kim as we have a reset on this. And again, after a lackluster first quarter, we've had some great scoring and the ball bouncing the way of Princeton in the third, and that's why they've been able to keep it a 2-point contest.
Yeah, so the ball has been bouncing different ways tonight, typically towards Princeton, but right there with Rodney Harris, you give Mackay, the quarterback, he hit the layup, and unfortunately didn't come down, and sometimes that happens with these young athletes working hard, and the play didn't happen, but they still have the ball here, 3rd and long, an opportunity. I think that's a good timeout by defensive coordinator Rico Epps to really regain. A lot of these guys are going both sides. Malik right there, and they look a little bit winded. In week 1, the heat does come into play. It's a little bit cooler of a night, but you start to see the first cramp. You're starting to see some hands on the hips, and you're starting to see guys tire out a little bit. But you have Darian Bowling here, Malik Verdon. You have a lot of the guys going both ways.
We saw a lot of Keyshawn Stevens playing everywhere. Defense, offense, special teams. Here's Lynn again, deep drop with time, throwing left this time. It's incomplete, a little too tall at the 40-yard line.
I think you got a punt right here if you're Coach Daniels. Play field possession with 10:20 left in the fourth quarter, down by 2. I would look to try to pin Hamilton Big Blue and get a stop and hopefully get back to get a score after that.
Intended for Jackson, incomplete. So punting time here with 10:20 to go.
As much balls I've seen drop tonight on punt returners, even though Darian Bolin has probably the best hands on the field, I still might say, hey, you know, if it's over your head or in question, just let it go.
Punter's coming late on the field, and it doesn't look like the normal punter, Bitzer.
That's Lamont Jackson back there.
So what kind of trickeration do we have here in the fourth? Low snap. He will kick it away. It's a low-flying duck. Even though it pinwheeled, it's taken down inside the 40-yard line. Ooh, 13 yards?
Special teams seems to be the hindrance for the Vikings, right? So we're talking about missed extra point, not converting on a 2-point conversion, and now a punt. And they've dropped the punt returner. So special teams in week 1 is starting to come into play. And great opportunity now for Hamilton Big Blue to have great field position and now make this a 2-point or 2-score game.
So I saw one of the officials kick up the marker to the 39-yard line. Unofficially a 13-yard punt. Ugly.
No bueno.
First and 10 at the 39-yard line. 10-11 left to go here in an exciting Week 1 contest. And if you asked us if this was going to be exciting after the first 12 minutes, we might have given you a different answer tonight. Sims Marshall, deep drop with time now. Flush from the pocket, rolls to the left. Out to the 40, to the 45, and he chased out of bounds. So minimal gain here, made something out of nothing, as he was chased out of there by 36, Jason Randall.
Feeling a little bit of pressure, makes it to the outside, take what's there. Nice play by Quincy Sims Marshall. Second and medium, puts him out in a good position here to convert. And Jeff, going into the fourth quarter here, a little bit of update to the audience on the stats, it is super close as far as stats are concerned. 269 of total offense for Princeton and 250 for Hamilton. 44 plays versus 42. So that's what the score is dictating. A very close game here.
Twins to the far side. The give to the tailback into the secondary, out to the 50 as he dives forward across the 50 to the 48-yard line. That's Johnson.
Johnson, the 6'1", 200-pound back, finding some space here, and nice run.
Johnson carries for another.
He has given Hamilton the go-ahead touchdown here in this ball game back in the last quarter on a 15-yard run. So he picks up the first down here out to the 49-yard line as we melt the clock under 10 minutes. 10 minutes left to go and under. We're actually down to 9:40, and Hamilton has yet to break the huddle with 10 on the shot clock, or the play clock, beg your pardon. Football, not basketball.
Yeah, I know you call games for basketball. So
And a high snap, and it gets away from the quarterback out to the 30. He'll dive on it at the 25. That's a massive loss on the play, approximately 24 yards.
And someone that's watching the game says, why did Quincy Sims-Marshall jump on that? That's actually a great play. That's what you're taught as a quarterback. Sometimes if you try to pick that up and scoop and go, then it gets deflected, knocked out of your hands, and all of a sudden, once again, play for another down. You're seeing these kids make resilient plays. Princeton getting out of the end zone there, Quincy Marshall pouncing on it. That's a good play. So anyone that's watching it, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what quarterbacks are taught.
So we'll see 2nd and 36. So what is it, 2nd and Middletown?
Or Loveland, where I'm from.
Yeah, absolutely. Ball's at the 25-yard line. Sims-Marshall gets it. It's a give up the middle to the running back and back to the line of scrimmage and very little more.
This is where I would maybe run a slant, get spread out, maybe get Sather. Something that's a high probability to keep the clock moving and a high probability for a pass here, but there's going to be some space. Maybe get one of these wide receivers in a little bit of a crease and see what they can do.
I harken back to a play, and I don't think we'll see that here, but because it's such a rarity. Trace and I a year ago, it was Harrison versus Little Miami. They had a 1st and 40 on that. They converted for a touchdown on that drive.
You never know.
You
right?
never know. You still
never
have
know.
to play it. Maybe we'll get another hook and ladder.
Yeah, it's 3rd and 33. Things happen.
Sims-Marshall rolls right. Looking downfield, throwing long right, and is it complete? Incomplete, out of the sideline. If he had thrown it in play, that might have been 6.
Another situation where it's a defensive back. We're starting to see this. They're starting to trip or fall. There's some broken coverage. Darian Bolin open. It's just weren't able to connect on that.
Oh, my goodness. Mercy. I tell you, if he had thrown it to the inside shoulder instead of the outside, Boling's still running to the end zone right now.
It's a good thing I took my cholesterol medicine because my heart is going. Anyone that's watching this, it is up and down. A lot of swing of emotions here where it's big plays either happening or so close to happening. So hang on there, both sides, Hamilton and Princeton. This is going to be a barn burner.
McCullough coming backwards. Ball's at the 25. He'll station himself out at his own 12-yard line. Bowers out at the 44-yard line, his own 44-yard line as the deep man. McCullough gets it away. A high, spiraling, short kick. I can't tell you that it's a wounded duck, but it falls down just outside the 45-yard line, still in Hamilton territory. So not much of a punt there, officially 21 yards.
Anytime, though, that's his 6th punt of the night. He's been punting really well for an average of 35 yards. So he's punted 6 times for over 200 yards for McCullough. So right now, once again, they're keeping – Princeton just keeps, hanging around, right? Mm-hmm. So here's an opportunity for them to seize it. Where really, I think Hamilton could have put them away. Princeton is staying in, and now you see Thomas Boyd. I think you'll see a heavy dose of him where they're going to try to just chip away here with 7:37 to go.
You would think. Here's the give to Boyd, and he is met. Did not get back to the line of scrimmage.
Number 3, Thomas Boyd.
Not a ton of noise or excitement necessarily coming for the stands in the Big Blue Nation, but you're starting to hear as the game gets tighter, you're starting to hear some more noise and really getting the defense hopefully fired up here.
Xavier Rubio out of his D lineman spot on the stop. 5'11", 230. No gain. 2nd and 10 at the 45-yard line. Lynn calling for it, looking. Skinny post. He goes to his favorite receiver, Harris. He breaks away from a tackle, spins across the first down line, and picks up and moves the chains.
Great catch, great pitch and catch. Mekhi Lynn sitting in nice. Slant right across, hit it in the pocket, outside, in between the outside linebacker and the cornerback. Step and throw, looks good there.
Officially a pickup of 11, 1st and 10 at the 34. Jordan Jones, JJ made the stop. And we saw him on Monday. Lynn calling for the ball, the give to Boyd off left tackle and into the secondary, to the 20, out to the 15, on his feet to the 10, to the 5, to the goal line. Is he in? The ball came away at the end.
They're going to give him a touchdown.
Wow! 34 yards on the gallop.
Choo, choo, Thomas the Train Boyd. Wow, what a run. Reservations for 6 in Princeton as well.
Oh, mercy. 34 yards on the rumble, stumble, and bumble to the goal line. And again, the ball came out right as he was about ready to get to the goal line. They said he crossed the plane of the end zone, the goal line, and he's in for 6. And the Vikings have the lead at 25-21.
Here's another phrase here. Beast mode.
Yes.
He looked like Marshawn Lynch there. He was pushing, turning, pulling. He was not going to be stopped. He was destined for that touchdown.
Well, when you saw him at the 20-yard line against double coverage in front of him, did you think he was going to make it to the goal line? I wasn't so sure.
But don't put anything past Boyd. He has a heart and soul, and he's going to go get it.
They go for 2 here. Lynn looking left, throwing left on the skinny post route, and it is complete to Jackson for 2.
2-point conversion is good.
So Jackson's had a huge night. 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion to boot. It's 27-21.
And they're finding that inside slant. It's called slant now. Didn't get really vertical. He slanted right away. And once again, Mekhi Lynn and Lamont Jackson connecting on a quick slant. It's there right now, and they're going to take it.
That caps off a 3-play drive. It soaks up 1 minute and 2 seconds off the clock. Boyd from 34 yards out. Thomas the Train gets his first.
Man, that was a fun run to watch. Friday night football here in Southwest Ohio. We got the best game. I think you guys scheduled this. You and Trey said, hey, Kyle's got to have the best game in the closest game. I don't know what else is going on in the conference necessarily right now after halftime, but there can't be a better game than this right now.
Hard to imagine the way this one has gone back and forth since the second quarter. And the way things had started out for Mekhi Lynn, you kind of thought, oh, my gosh, does he have first start jitters? Not tonight.
Kid's a warrior, right? He is really stepping up. I've been really impressed with Mekhi Lynn. It's hard. It's hard to come back from 2 interceptions in the first quarter. He's a junior quarterback in his first start. He's showing heart, and that is great to see out of a Viking.
Deep for Hamilton, number 2, Caleb Johnson.
So Caleb Johnson, the deep back. We'll probably see Stevens in this opportunity. The way things have gone, Merrick will kick it away from his own 40. End over end. And taken, it looks like, by Stevens out of the 25-30. Breaks a free to the 40, to the 45, to the 47-yard line. You really got to kick this one out of bounds now.
Once again, special teams. I know Coach Daniels in Princeton tomorrow. Special teams is the kick coverage there. Now they got the ball at the 50. It's given chance. Once again, Hamilton needed a little spark, and that's going to give them a nice little setup here to drive down the field. Already almost on their side of the field on the 48-yard line.
As we await for both teams to get back on the field, you've played this game. You played this game for a long time. Is momentum tangible? Is it a feeling that you feel tangibly?
No doubt. No doubt. It's hard to spell out, but you feel it, you sense it, and there's nothing better in a fourth quarter to look at your brothers and say, hey, the game is on the line. Let's go win this thing.
The give. No, actually, the keep out to the far side. A long developing play, and not a whole lot, not a lot of juice for the squeeze on that one after a 2-yard gain.
Nope, but you know what? It's 2-yard gain, could be worse, but you can just tell, you can sense, once again, the energy from Princeton. You can feel it. They are excited that they have the lead, and they're feeling that life, and now they feel like, hey, we can close this thing.
Halfway through this fourth quarter, 27-21, Princeton with a 6-point lead here in Hamilton. I'm with Kyle Decker. I'm Geoff Kim. Glad to have you along for opening night. It's a memorable one so far. Trips to the near side. Sims Marshall calls for it. He rolls left. He's into the secondary to the 45. Cuts back inside to the 40. He has a first down.
Great run by Marshall Law. back here in Hamilton. He's starting to take possession. Another conversion on his feet, looking really good. And this is where a senior quarterback like Quincy, where it comes into play, right? He's had these moments last year, right? He took that team as a junior to the playoffs. And now this is where that senior quarterback, those experiences should pay off. And right now you're starting to see him make some clutch plays.
Bowling and Ishmael out to the far side, a pair to the near side. Looking left, throwing left, home run left, caught left at a 23-yard line, incomplete. It had come out at the end of the play.
Great ball. That's what we call a hole shot, right? So safety's over top. Great ball by Quincy Sims-Marshall. It looks like there might be a cramp here.
Malik Verdon came up, and initially he had the catch, and again, we've seen this a couple times tonight, and, it is humid out tonight, so we can't, up here in the booth, we can't understand how humid and how slippery the ball gets at this time of night. So it looked like it was in his hands. He came down, his knee hit the ground, the ball came out, incomplete pass, and he's being tended to right now on the sidelines.
And this is where, and they talked about it on Monday, right, is the off-season conditioning. These kids are used to structure throughout the year, and with COVID-19, it's been an unusual off-season. So how have they conditioned, right? How have they weight trained? What did they do self-discipline on their own? And you're starting to see, no matter how well and how hard they work, there is still some non-variables that will get you with the heat and start to cramp for sure.
Well, we got a moment. Let's tell you what's coming up in week 2. This is what's on tap for us. Coleraine at Oak Hills, Hamilton at Lakota West, Mount Healthy at Edgewood, Mason at Lakota East, Middletown at Fairfield, and Talawanda at Harrison. I have to tell you, in deference to your choice, the team I actually do want to see this year at some point, and I do want it to be sooner than later, is Harrison. So Trace and I got a chance to follow them into the playoffs all the way to the regional final where they got blown out by LaSalle. But Connor Kinnett, Levi Tidwell, CJ Young, they had a bunch of kids that were just so fun to watch. They might have been the funnest bunch in all of Southwest Ohio last year.
Yeah, it's almost like you talking about the band. I don't know much, but it sounds great. So I would love to as well. So you're already, hey, I get it. You're smart. You're already starting to police for the games that you won, and I'm sure you're going to get because you are the guy. I might call you the GOAT, the greatest of all time. I don't know by the end of the night. I got to make sure I get back next week.
Pair of wides to the far side. The give to the running back. Off the right side, into the secondary. Out to the 30, close to a first down. So second effort right around the 35-yard line. He pushes his way. Stevens does for 4 more, and he's close to the first down.
We just saw a great run on the other side of the field, and we just saw another one right there. Great way. He was pinning off different guys like a pinball, and he kept his feet chopping and kept low, and he almost got the first down.
How big is this play? 3rd and 1 with 4:45 left.
Couldn't be any bigger, and it looks like they're going to get it.
And they do. Out to the far side. And the runner still takes it out towards, let's see where they place it. It's out to the far marker. But Stevens with a big run here on to get the first down.
Another great run, and to the right side of the line.
And look who was leading the way for him, Darian Bowling.
It's leadership. Once again, another senior. That this is a huge game, right? In a 6-game season before the playoffs, every game matters out of 10, but even 6, it becomes even more significant. So this is a big game right here.
4:30 to go to the end of this one, 27-21. 1st and 10 at the 18. Stevens up the middle, off to the left side, to the 10, to the 5, to the corner, and Hamilton's got the lead back. Actually, we're tied at 27, pending the extra point attempt for the lead. And it's Johnson with the touchdown.
That time off the left-hand side of the line, another great block on the outside, and pretty much could have, he had a little bit of action there at the end, but almost could have walked in.
18-yard touchdown run with 4:23, and this one for the lead.
This is where the practice of special teams. I was a holder for 4 years at Miami. I was a backup quarterback and holder. You have a 1.2 seconds to get this off.
Rios, the point after is good, and Hamilton does now have the lead, 28-27.
Great snap, great hold, great kick. That's a big deal. Up 1 point. Hamilton, big blue. Wow. Back and forth we go. 4:23 left.
That drive went 5 plays, went 52 yards, took 2 minutes and 5 seconds off the clock, 18 yards for Johnson. Extra point, the big extra point. And the way things have gone with special teams tonight, that's been the difference. That's good, and you got the 1 point lead with just under 4.5 to go.
I think right now, I think you got to load up the box on defense if you're Rico Epps and Coach Mahan and play to win, get aggressive, really come up, stop the run, make Makai Lynn, and they do have great weapons on the outside, but I think now's the time to make them throw and go to win. Take Jordan Jones, start moving him around, and let him go fly, and really load up the box to stop the run.
1 point affair tonight. I don't want to belabor a point, but I'm going to. It's been a great one here for week 1.
Well, we can, right? We've been waiting so long for this opportunity. The odds of us getting to this moment was not high significance, right? Not a high probability for us to be sitting here, and then let alone have a 28-27 game. Yeah, we're like kids on Christmas up in this box because we're playing football. It's a close game. It's GMC, and it's going to come down to the wire.
Look at this kick into the end zone for a touchback. I mean, Rios just nailed that one.
He might be kicking on Saturdays. He's got a leg on him. If I'm a college coach coming looking at all these other guys, you might want to stick around for special teams and watch Rios kick.
Well, his long of his career is 40. He did that last year, so it's clear that he has a leg, an above-average high school leg to be sure. And he's got some time to develop it here and add some length to that leg. 1 point affair here in Hamilton with 4:20 left to play. Well, actually, 4:23 up on the clock as we speak. 28-27. Along with Kyle Decker, I'm Geoff Kim. So glad to have you along for opening night. Trips to the near side as Rodney Harris is the closest to us in that wide-out package. Lynn looking to give. It's to the train again. Off to the races again. To the 40. Cuts back to the 45. To the 50. Down the sideline to the 40. 40 yards on the gallop. Mercy.
Should I do it again? Choo, choo. Thomas the Train. Wow, he's going, man. He's on it. He's on it. Maybe they saved him up for the fourth quarter for a reason. He has fresh legs. He didn't get a ton of carries in the first half, and now they're feeding the rock, and he looks fresh.
Let's see the give to the big man again. He takes it, and this time he's going to be set back for a loss.
Hamilton's defense says, I'm tired of hearing the choo-choo, and they went right after him. They brought some heat there.
Ishmael on the stop and a loss on the play after the big 40-yarder that the big man Boyd had put out.
Breon Ishmael right there, the rocket coming flying through. Big tackle, especially on first down. Once again, puts them in second and long, and we'll see if they start to throw here.
Trips to the near side. Dummy count, and now they look to the sideline. And they come alive here in Hamilton, exhorting for their defense with 3:30 left to go. Looking left, Lynn, throwing left, complete left, out at the 40-yard line. Very little on the pickup. And Jackson, who's been the star tonight on offense for these Princeton Vikings, he get minimal gain.
They're back in your favorite territory, no man's land.
No man's land.
So this is two down territory. I think Coach Daniels is going to play to win. He hasn't been scared all night long with the hook and ladder and other things. He's playing 2 downs to get the first down here.
And offsides. Hamilton was trying to get off the field on a substitution package, or is it a timeout? It's a timeout. So they decide to give up the TO instead of the yardage loss.
It'll be interesting to see how that comes to play down the wire. That's their second timeout burned here, I believe, or maybe the third there, Jeff. I'm not quite sure. It looks like there's a 0 up on the clock. But that could come into play, right? So Princeton has all 3. Hamilton does not have any. But, once again, on third down, it's important. There's no, with the lead, you got to have your defense right. And obviously Coach Epps saw something he didn't like.
28-27, and something that you had mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, that, being here is, times during the summer felt improbable. The last time that, Chatterbox, prior to last week, because we started covering soccer and volleyball a week ago, was back in the middle of March in the regional semifinals in high school basketball. I do remember this. We got a chance to call the regional semifinal down at the Cintas Center, and then we were about ready to do the Division II games up at the Nunder Center, and that's when Mike DeWine decided to call things off, and obviously for the safety of the state. And ever since then, we've been kind of wondering, and wonder no more, and we've got a good one in return. So 3:01 on the clock, 3rd and 9. Makai Lynn changing things up at the line. Gets it, deep drop, looking left. Now flush from the pocket, rolling left, on the move, to the 40, to the 35, close to where he needed to be, out to the 33-yard line. He's going to be short.
4th and 2. What do you do? I think you go to the choo-choo. I think that just rhymed there. But hey, it's 2 minutes and 40 seconds and rolling down. And right now it is. This is it. This could be it, I should say. This might not be the defining play, but being 4th down and 2, being down 1, this is where Friday night is won or lost.
They have Boyd in the backfield with Lynn. They give it to, and it's a stoppage in play, a flag on the far sideline. Looks like it's going to be movement on the line.
False start right there. That really hurts. When you're 4th and short, and now you got to go 4th and medium/long, that really changes the ability of Boyd on that play on fourth down and short. So it kind of takes maybe him out of this play, which really, really hurts.
2 minutes, 6 seconds left to go. The play of the game is right here, right now.
I might see them burn a timeout here. Play clock is coming down. They can't afford another 5-second penalty. I see Coach Daniels maybe taking a timeout.
And here we go. Lynn calling for the ball. Deep drop. Rolling right. Looking long. Throwing long. Down the sideline. Is it caught at the 12-yard line? No, incomplete.
Or no, they gave it to him.
They gave it to him. Unbelievable. Jackson again. No, it is Foster. Is it Foster or is it 8 Jackson?
Lamont Jackson brings down another big-time catch.
Unbelievable. It looked like they waved it off initially and they called it a catch after that. Unbelievable.
6'3". When you go up and try to high point a ball, Geoff, you got to really put your shoulders back, which gives you that increased motion in those shoulders to go up and get it. And he high pointed it perfectly. He knew it was slightly underthrown, but Makai gave him a chance. And that's all you can ask for, and you go let playmakers make plays. And he made a big one in that.
28-27. We have 1:43 frozen on the clock. A dandy here in Hamilton tonight. What can we do for an encore next week?
I might just be one and done, Geoff. I might be one and done. I don't know how we can top this. This is incredible.
They're going to place the ball officially at the 11-yard line.
I think right now you're going to get a dose of Boyd. If I'm Rico Epps in the defense, and I see J.J. Jordan, maybe put him in a situation with a blitz to try to let him make a play here.
So the give up the middle to Boyd, into the middle of the line, across the 10, down to the 7-yard line.
Thomas Boyd.
So this is an interesting situation, Kyle, in that you have no timeouts left for the Big Blue. None. You can conceivably just run down the clock, and if you have to kick the field goal, center up the shot. Here's Boyd again, off right tackle, inside the 5, down to the 3, to the 2.
A little surprising. They snapped that with about 20 seconds on the play clock. I think they might right here continue to burn the clock. Hopefully right now, I'm sure they're getting in the message from the sideline, and Coach Daniels is yelling, hey, take the clock down. They have no timeouts, and they're going to hand it right off to Boyd. Right now it's goal line stand time.
3rd and 2. It's at the 3 officially, so they don't need the touchdown to convert to get another first down. Boyd's in the backfield with Lynn. Here's the keeper for Lynn, going to the sideline. He's pulled down from behind at the 7-yard line, and a flag coming on in. I don't know if they're going to call the horse collar on that, but we've got 32 seconds left to go.
Wow, this is a big, are they going to call the penalty or not? They're conversing it. This is astronomically large decision coming, really depending on a loss to potentially putting it back on the goal line.
Personal foul. It's against the defense.
Called it a face mask. They must have, when he was flowing to the ball, he was ball hawking. I'm sure he didn't obviously mean to. And that's hard. Sometimes when you're flowing to the ball and you're just trying to take the offensive player down as a defender, your hand can get up in a face mask, and that looks like what happened there.
Well, Hamilton's praying for a miracle right now.
Right here, you got to send the house. You got to send the house, play to win, man up on the outside, and take all your guys.
Kai Lynn, he's got Boyd in the backfield with him on his left hip. Here's the give to Boyd off left tackle to the goal line. Is he in? No signal yet, just short with 22 seconds left to go.
Boy, it looked like from here, even up in the box, it looked like he stretched out. It's one of those game of inches. We talked about the field goal hitting the post, and right there, Boyd stretches out. Does he get it in? That is the question. It looks like he barely didn't get in. So I think once again, they're going to hand it off to him and try to get him to punch it in.
Clock is moving. 17 on the game clock. 14 on the game clock. 10 on the game clock. No, now I think we got a stoppage here.
Princeton has 2 timeouts. I'm not quite sure why they wouldn't call one here, but especially with it being first down, you want to try to get as many run plays as possible.
Well, they're conferring right over top of the ball. So resetting, first and goal at the 1, 11 seconds left to go.
Game of inches right here. It looks like the nose of the ball is literally touching the goal line. And this is right now for week 1, who wins? Princeton Vikings versus the Hamilton Big Blue to go 1-0 or 0-1 in the GMC.
You let the big dog eat.
Got to. You got to give it to the train. I don't think there's no way. As well as Mackay has played in the second half and as mobile as he is, I think there's no doubt Thomas Boyd has been the workhorse in the second half, particularly in this fourth quarter. How can you not give it to him?
So they're going to reset the clock, I believe. It looked like the official was waving up to the press box. Now they do have it at 11. White knuckling here in Hamilton tonight. 1-point ball game, 28-27. Give it to Boyd, it might be his second tonight. The give into the line, he's in, touchdown!
The senior punches it in. Thomas the Train Boyd, as we've been mentioning over and over again. Princeton goes up in the fourth quarter with merely only, it looks like the 16 seconds are back on the clock. Up by 5. They're going to go for 2 here, I believe, on the 2-point conversion. But wow, man, oh man, that is just incredible drive by the Princeton Vikings.
A thriller here in Hamilton tonight. 33-28 on the 1-yard plunge. The second of the night for Thomas the Boy, the Train. The big dog got to eat tonight.
I don't think it matters. If he's the bus, he's the train, he's the beast mode. You can call him whatever it is. He is absolutely driving the ball down the field for the Princeton Vikings, putting the team somewhat on his back and just going and going and going and bulldozing. And right there can't be anyone in the state. I'm going to say this right now, and I don't think it's that big of a bold of a statement. On goal line situation, games on the line, who else would you give it to than a back of his nature? I don't think there's anyone.
33-28. Touchdown completes a 9-play drive that went 80 yards. And it chewed up 4 minutes and 7 seconds, the 1-yard plunge, and we're awaiting the conversion. And there will be nothing on this one. Looking to give it to Ari Turner. And it still remains 33-28.
Now let's give the Big Blue some Nation faithful an opportunity here. This game is not over. If there's any other team, I'll throw it on the other side, any other team in the state that has the length of Hamilton, they don't. These guys have 3 wide receivers 6'4" and above. Now's the time for Quincy Sims Marshall to get his arm loose and let one fly. Hopefully they can get a nice little return here, maybe one pass and a Hail Mary.
Mercy.
Wouldn't that be something?
I'm telling you. I mean, and the fact that we've had 2 lead changes in the last 5 minutes of this contest, how's your heart doing?
Not good. Not good. I shouldn't have drank. I drank a lot of caffeine before I got in here. I was trying to get hyped. And I'll tell you what, caffeine with this stress, I mean, I feel the stress for them. I can't imagine being a parent in this stands or an aunt and uncle listening to us on, on Chatterbox. This is an incredibly pressure situation for these high school student athletes, but I think they got to be having the time of their life. I know losing, there's nothing worse than that, but to come out on a Friday night to play football after all the adversity these kids have faced, I'm so happy for these kids.
Kamarick to kick from his own 40. Johnson, the deep man, I believe, out at his own 10-yard line. But Stevens waits in the wings, and he's done damage here on kickoffs throughout the ball game. So low liner taken by one of the up men at the 28, dropped at the 30, and now picked up again and out the 31-yard line. 12 seconds on the clock left to go here in this one.
So here's what I would do. I would send all the perimeter guys out on a go route and then run a deep bench, which would burn off about 6 or 7. We actually called it in college. Coach Vonderheide was there. Called it Big Ben. So he actually, you send everyone out. You probably go trips right here to the field with a solo on the backside. And you send everyone out, and the guy in the slot will take a big bend. And you want to really try to get 20 to 30 yards, and then you can maybe put yourself in a position for an Hail Mary.
Trying to see the down Big Blue player out at the 32-yard line. Still can't see. It looks like a cramp the way that the trainer is pushing up on those toes.
And let me say this. Whatever team loses tonight, they have an opportunity. These are 2 really good football teams. And just because whoever does come out on the short side of the stick, per se, tonight, they still have high upside, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. And, the great thing about this for both teams, the ability to accentuate on big plays, right? I mean, we saw Darian Bowling early in this ballgame with a 70-yarder. We saw that rumble and tumble and stumble there by Boyd. Now, while that wasn't for a touchdown on that last drive, that did get them into Hamilton territory, and that did set up that 1-yard plunge.
Yeah, it's been a back and forth. It's been an incredible football game. I've seen a lot of football. I'm not trying to age myself. I guess I'm not as old as you, right, Jeff? But, hey, this is one of the better ones out there.
I love it, the dig that you don't see coming. 12 seconds left to go. 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line.
So you see trips right here. They could be running what I call Big Ben. Let's see here.
Rolls right, throws right, incomplete right, out of the 45-yard line. The low liner too strong with 8 seconds left to go.
And that's not uncommon, what I was calling for there, which when you send everyone on a vertical and you get someone, you got to really chip off there. But right now, here's where you're going to see potentially multiple hook and ladders. They got to make sure to keep the ball behind. You got 8 seconds. We'll see what happens.
Deep drop for Sims Marshall, looking right, throwing right, and is it caught? Out towards the line to gain with 3 on the clock.
Looks like they're going to call it incomplete, so they're going to be 70 yards away. As you can tell, they're putting Leroy Bowers and a lot of their guys way back. The goal is to keep everything in front of you, and everyone has seen these plays that can happen.
And here we go. What looks like the final play of the game. Throw it to the right side, complete, out of the 40, and out to the 46-yard line, and that's it. What a finish tonight. And Princeton escapes with a beauty win here in Hamilton, 33-28.
A back and forth matchup, 2 great teams. Both teams should be very excited about what's ahead for them, and can't wait to see where both teams really come out of this, Jeff. And I think, once again, the best is ahead for both of these teams. So Big Blue Nation, hang in there. Big game next week against Lakota. Princeton's going to continue to move on, and can't wait to see what's going to happen.
Thomas Boyd with 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. He had the rumble and stumble from deep, and then he had the 1-yard plunge. It was the go-ahead with 16 seconds left to go, and Princeton held on tonight. And it was at times a really sloppy game, but since the second quarter, it was an entertaining game, and I got to tell you, I can't imagine one better here for opening night.
Yeah, and let's give credit where credit's due. These kids are special. You saw a lot of heart and passion and drive, and these kids really came through. Both communities should be, once again, extremely proud, and the best is ahead. I can't say that enough. Both teams are going to really move forward here, and lots of talent on both sides of the ball, and we're going to see how week 2, right, from week 1 to week 2, you see the biggest increase typically in performance and improvement, and I think both teams are going to improve definitely going into week 2.
Final thought, we're going to put you on the spot. Star of the game tonight.
Star of the game, I can't, to me it's evident. It's Thomas the Train Boyd, and they gave him the ball, the senior put it on his back, and he's my choice.
So tonight's star of the game, Thomas the Train Boyd, 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, including the go-ahead with 16 seconds left to go to ice this one away as Princeton goes to 1-0 on the season and Hamilton drops to 0-1. Thanks, partner. We'll see you next week.
Love it. I'm glad I'm invited back. Thank you guys so much.
Be sure to stay right here on ChatterboxSports.com and the Chatterbox Sports app as Reed Mouse will take you home. He'll wrap things up with our opening night action with the box score. Thanks go out to our crew, Sam Ribler, Dan Gotham, Ron Fowler, and we'll see you next week. Can't wait for this one. Again, the final 33-28. Princeton a winner. For Trace Fowler and my main man, Kyle Decker, I'm Geoff Kim. Good night.